From bench warmers in Decatur, it is a World Cup draw Friday. Traditionally, it's a freestyle Friday. You roll the special open and everything, but we figured we'd leave that open off to the side today. There's a very, very special day around the world of soccer. We're going to be here at Bench Warmers for the morning show. Here's the layout of the land as we have everything figured out. So we'll kick things off here, and it's going to be a very, very busy day as we roll through. So Michael Parkhurst set to join us after we go through all of the procedures, all the draw, all the things. So that's going to happen here in the first half hour. We're going to lay out everybody who's in. You see the paper for those of you who are watching on the visiting side of things. On the video side, this is kind of the paper that we're going to be using today, at least a part of it. So we can start that off there. Michael Parkhurst set to join us at about 9:30, and he will break things down from the U.S. perspective, what it's going to be like for him, what it looks like for the United States, his perception on how it's going to look, appear, and otherwise be a part of everything here as we lay things out. Then 10 o'clock, Maddie has done, and it is she went and sampled a lot of the colleges around. And it was where she went to, I'm trying to think of all of the different colleges where she was. So she goes to Georgia Gwinnett, she goes to Georgia State, she goes to Mercer, she goes to, I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. So Georgia State, Georgia Gwinnett, a couple of Mercer, I know there's some in there anyway. 10 o'clock hour, Maddie did a piece where she caught up with a lot of the international players and found out what it's like for them to be here playing the sport of soccer, how they anticipate what's going on with the World Cup. And that's going to be in the 10 o'clock hour. Also, weather permitting, considering it's in the 40s and it's kind of nasty, Andrea Arnold, the city manager, City of Decatur, is going to be dropping by, and we're going to get her thoughts on Decatur Watch Fest and all of that. Wrapping up our show this morning, it's going to be Nino Torres from Lima, Peru, and he's going to break down CONMEBOL for us. And so as we break things down, let me see if I get it straight. We're going to break things down with all the pots and all the teams here in the first half hour. Michael Parkhurst set to join us in the second half hour. Andrea Arnold, city manager, City of Decatur, third half hour. Nino Torres, after Maddie's piece airs about all of the college athletes that are here from overseas and from all the different countries. That's what the layout is for today. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. John, hear you there. And it's going to be a busy day. So let me know what's going on in your world. Are you playing hooky from work today? Are you going to just kind of vegetate at home? Are you there with friends? Are you there with family? Do you have the warm soup? Do you have the party and ready to go? See, now, traditionally, you know me, I have my caffeine off to the side, but it's out of arm's reach, and I need a cup. Jen Johns from the City of Decatur. Yeoman work by Jen already this morning as she's laying everything out. Just literally, Jen, it could be a red solo for all I care. That's all good. Okay, so Jen's helping me out. All right, so that's what's going on here this morning. We'll break it all down for you, and thanks for dropping by, as you always do. So, all right, let's get into draw procedures for the World Cup and who's in, who's got problems, and who's not happening until March, all of the things. It is a national holiday. Yes, Ricky, World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. Can I say, so Ricky's saying it so I get in trouble. I see how this works. So he's doing it in all caps, by the way. So yes, World Cup, World Cup, World Cup. He is saying it. But yeah, I said, well, because I'm reading the notes, and you know how I am when it comes to reading everything in the Twitch pitch. So yeah, I finally did say it because today is when it matters. But also in trying to get here, thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. In trying to get here to bench warmers this morning, my major problem is that, and this I guess is opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. The boss and I have a deal where if one of us leaves the house and we don't have our wedding band on, it's a $20 fine. And so Ricky Ricardo says, hi, Jen, by the way. If I leave the house without my wedding band on, you guys know, for those of you that are OGs and have been here for a while, you know that if I leave the house without my wedding band on, it's a $20 fine. $20 goes in the jar, and at the end of the year, it ends up going someplace to a charity of our choice. So in trying to get to bench warmers this morning, I left the wedding band off. So it's in the jar right by the bed. And so it's going to be nice and warm when I get home today at some point, probably after the draw in and of itself, and I'll put it back on. So that is what we're looking at here. So $20 fine for not wearing the wedding band today and trying to get here to the remote. And so, hey, why not? All right, so here's where we are. Ricky can't play hooky today. TV's right next to him, so he's ready to go. So morning, Ricky, and here we go. All right, let's lay out the draw procedures as we know them, and just to let you know. The draw procedures themselves, and we won't get into appendices or anything like that. We might get into rankings as we go, but draw procedures from our friends at the FIFA, it was a 7-page document including the cover. And so what I did, I didn't necessarily need it in, color, but I ended up printing it in black and white. I didn't need all 7 pages either. So here's where we are when it comes to your draw procedures for the World Cup. Yes, there, I said it. Now, 8 teams out of the AFC, out of Asia: Australia, Iran, Japan, Jordan, South Korea, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Uzbekistan. Out of the CAF, you've got 9: Algeria, Cabo Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, Egypt, Ghana, Morocco, Senegal, South Africa, and Tunisia. CONCACAF's got 6. 3 of them are your hosts: Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., Curacao, Haiti, and Panama. They are in. CONMEBOL's got 6. And like I said, we'll catch up with our buddy Nino Torres coming up at 9:30, and we will listen and kind of have him break down the 6 that are in and then the Intercontinental Playoff. Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, Uruguay. So that's your 6 there. 1 from Oceania, it's New Zealand. UEFA's got 16. 12 are in, 4 to be determined. We'll get to that in a second. Austria, Belgium, Croatia, England, France, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Scotland, Spain, Switzerland. 4 teams to be determined. TBD, TBA, however you want to phrase it. Winners of the World Cup playoff tournament, that is, those are the ones, you're going to get 2 of those. This is the Intercontinental Playoff. So when you see on the bracket, you see like Intercontinental A or Intercontinental B on the large, first off, when they take it out of the I wish there was like a specific term, like out of the thing that you got when you were Chuck E. Cheese. You unscrew the cap and it comes out and you hit the piece of paper and it says Intercontinental A or Intercontinental B. Those, you got 2 of those: Iraq, DR Congo, Jamaica, Suriname, Bolivia, and New Caledonia. So that's one from the AFC, 1 from the CAF, 2 from CONCACAF, 1 from CONMEBOL, and 1 from Oceania. Iraq, DR Congo, Jamaica, Suriname, Bolivia, and New Caledonia. Now, page 2, seeding and pot allocation. We get into the pots and the teams as they go here. So, pot 1, take notes or have printed paper with you. Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., they're all in pot 1. Canada is going to be in Group A, Mexico in Group B, the U.S. in Group D. Spain, Argentina, France, England, Brazil, Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany. And remember, Sepp Blatter messed this up, 2 decades ago. So we have to kind of keep an eye on all this stuff. So that's pot 1. Pot 2, Croatia, Morocco, Colombia, Uruguay, Switzerland, Japan, Senegal, Iran, South Korea, Ecuador, Austria, and Australia. Don't get those 2 confused, but you don't have to worry about that considering they're both in pot 2. Pot 3, Norway, Panama, Egypt, Algeria, Scotland, Paraguay, Tunisia, Ivory Coast, Uzbekistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and South Africa. That's your pot 3. Then, in addition to UEFA Playoff A, UEFA Playoff B, UEFA Playoff C, and UEFA Playoff D, we'll get into those matchups. You have the 2 FIFA, they'll probably list it as, instead of Intercontinental Playoff, the way it's listed here in the FIFA document, FIFA Playoff 1, FIFA Playoff 2. That's your Intercontinental, everybody from all over the place. Those get to work their way in those 6. So, pot 4, Jordan, Cabo Verde, Ghana, Curacao, Haiti, New Zealand. Playoff A is some combination of Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. UEFA Playoff B, Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, Albania. Playoff C, Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo. There's no political danger there. And then playoff D, Denmark, North Macedonia, the Czech Republic, and Ireland. FIFA playoff 1 is going to be some combination of New Caledonia, Jamaica, and the DR Congo. And then playoff 2 is going to be a combination of Bolivia, Suriname, and Iraq. So that's your layout. Ricky wants to know, they already determined which playoff brackets or which number in pot 4. I'm sure they have locations. Pot 4 includes all right, let's go to pot 4. Since you're there, Ricky, since you're there, we'll go to pot 4. Following constraints have been established. For pots 2, 3, and 4, a predetermined pattern has been established to define the group position that the teams are drawn into, depending on which pot they come from. And that's Appendix B, which is on a page that I don't have, naturally. Okay, never mind. All right, pot 4. Pot 4 includes the 2 placeholders for the playoff tournament winners and the 4 placeholders for the European playoff winner. We got into that. That's the UEFA A, B, C, D, and then FIFA playoff. Was it FIFA playoff A, B, C, and D? Yeah, FIFA playoff 1 and FIFA playoff 2. So UEFA playoff A, B, C, and D, and then FIFA playoff 1 and 2. So that's where we are with pot 4. The FIFA tournament consists of 2 pathways, 3 teams, 1 seeded, each pathway composed of 3 different confederations, with no pathway having more than 1 team from the same confederation. Someone should remind Sepp Blatter about that. In order to comply with the general principle to ensure no group has more than 1 team from the same confederation, the confederation constraint will be applied to all 3 teams within each pathway of the 2 playoff tournament placeholders in pot number 4. And then we have the draw procedures. Once again, 4 pots representing the teams labeled 1 to 4, and each pot 12 balls with the country name of each qualified team. Draw starts. 3 host country teams, green ball representing Mexico, goes A1. Red ball representing Canada. Group B goes B1. Next, blue ball representing the U.S. is drawn, placed in Group D. So we know those 3. Group A is Mexico. Group B1 is Canada. Group D1 is the United States. 3 host teams are drawn. Draw continues by drawing all the remaining teams from pot number 1. So they get pot number 1 out of the way. And then they probably have a musical number from something like that. After all of them have been drawn, draw continues, drawing all the teams from pots 2, 3, and 4 in that order, with each pot being emptied before moving on to the next. There will be no mixing of pots. Draw concludes once all of the teams from pot 4 have drawn into the group. So that is pots 2 through 4. What time are we estimating the actual draw starting, he wants to know. 1:15, 1:30, not necessarily planning. My guess is that you're probably for the first, 20, 30 minutes, it's going to be pomp, circumstance, trophies, awards, those kinds of things. That's probably what's going to happen in the first half hour at the very least. You're going to have a lot of folks wandering into a room, a lot of folks on a stage, a couple of musical numbers. And so if everything is starting, 12-ish, I'm guessing 1:15, 1:30, but it's supposed to take like a half an hour. If it takes a half an hour for the whole thing to go, then that's what you're staring at. I think 1:15, 1:30, I think that's pretty sound, Ricky. I think that's probably a sound play. So 1:15, 1:30, we'll take 1:15 as our over-under. Hour and 15 minutes in, and that would be what we're staring at there. FIFA's general principle, whenever possible, is to ensure no group has more than 1 team from the same federation drawn into it. This is applicable to all confederations except UEFA, which is represented by 16 teams. And remember, UEFA can have more than 1 in a group, but it has to go through certain guidelines. Each group must have at least 1, but no more than 2 UEFA teams drawn into it. Thus, 4 out of the 12 groups will contain 2 of the 16 UEFA teams, including the 4 playoff placeholders. So remember, once again, when they pull the UEFA playoff A, B, C, or D, that's what that is. Those are teams 13 through 16 when it comes to UEFA. So you have your constraints. It is the pots with Canada. That was released back February, is established by the match schedule released on February 4th of 2024. Remaining 9 top-ranked teams, pot 1 identified 9 balls, automatically allocated to position 1 of the group into which they are drawn. So, interest of insurance. 2 separate pathways to the semifinals have been established in accordance with this, and in order to have a balanced distribution of the teams, the 4 highest ranked teams in the FIFA Men's World Rankings, when drawn, will have the following constraints. See, now this should be a colon and not a period. The highest ranked team and the second highest ranked team randomly drawn into groups in opposite pathways, and the same principle will also apply to the 3rd and 4th highest ranked teams. This will ensure, should they win their groups, the 2 highest ranked teams would not meet before the final. I need an explainer for the explainer. Wow, this is a lot of stuff. Okay, so pots 2 through 4, predetermined pattern has been established to define the group positions that are drawn into, depending on which pot they come in from. And then once again, we go through the procedures and the playoffs. And so the playoffs, once again, this is in March. So you're going to have the placeholder name idents today. Playoff pathway 1, New Caledonia and Jamaica. And the winner of that one goes up against DR Congo because they were seeded first. Then you have your playoff pathway match number 2, Bolivia, Suriname. The winner of that one gets Iraq, and then those 2 winners go through as your A and your B for the FIFA playoff. So sorry, FIFA playoff 1 and 2. So it's UEFA ABCD, FIFA playoff 1 and 2. So FIFA playoff 1, playoff final 2. That's your confederations. That's your your worldwide one. That's what it's going to happen. New Caledonia, Jamaica play DR Congo in March. That one goes through. Bolivia, Suriname, they play. Winner gets Iraq. That one goes through. Now, pathway, Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia, Herzegovina. Winner of one plays the winner of the other. That's playoff A. Playoff B, Ukraine, Sweden, Poland, Albania. Winner of those play. The winner of that one goes. That's pathway B. Turkey and Romania square off. Slovakia, Kosovo square off. Now, go back and look in the Google search. You'll see that there's a little political intrigue where that's concerned. Playoff final C is the winners of those. Playoff D, Denmark, North Macedonia, Czechia, and the Republic of Ireland. So that's your European playoff there as well. So that is the rundown of anything and everything going on with draw procedures. So the procedures. Ricky has the procedures in the PDF. So there actually is a PDF of the draw procedures. Okay, so thank you, Ricky. So for those that are there as a part of, that you're hanging out this morning, Ricky looking at the draw procedures for the FIFA World Cup. So once again, Ricky doing tremendous producerial work. Draw procedures, if I could spell procedures this early in the morning, FIFA World Cup. All right, so it's going to be a PDF, and we'll see how it looks. So draw procedures of the FIFA World Cup. And the first thing they bump you to is the hospitality portion of the program. You do your search in, you want draw procedures, it goes straight to FIFA hospitality. Of course it is. So your draw procedures documented. Oh, the final draw? Was this what I printed? Yeah, this is what I printed with slot allocation and draw constraints. Yeah, this is what I was reading from. Did I not print enough? Probably not. So okay. So there's your so the appendix. I put that piece of paper over here thinking that I wouldn't need to reference it. But now that I have the appendices and I can actually look at it in color, that's what you're looking at. Okay, so it is going to be yellow, orange, and green, and it's going to alternate. But obviously the ones are going to be put in the one slot, and then you have your colors that are designated in your group positions. In the A group, it's going to be your number 3 is going to, so the U.S. group, this is what you're staring at here. So out of group 2, you're looking for the number 3 out of group 2, the number 2 out of group 3, and then obviously the 4 out of group number 4. So that you're staring at with the U.S. All right, how many of you, Michael Parker is set to join us in about 5 or 6 minutes. How many of you have done the draw simulators? Show of hands. I want to know how many of you have done draw simulators to try to square away how many folks, how many folks you possibly could have when it comes to your group? How many? How many of you have done the simulators? I did a couple, and my simulators came up with groups that were, they were okay. And there weren't any that were completely and totally just group of deathy when it came to simulators in the U.S. There were a couple of simulators that you did that were, they were okay. They were okay. It wasn't anything that was really easy. There wasn't like a weak group that was associated with the United States, but there really wasn't a group that was, oh my gosh, group of death. Oh, you put your hands over your ears as the F-18 goes overhead. None of those. So that is that was kind of what I was doing a little bit. You know, they give you the simulators, but you always wonder how accurate the simulators are and those kinds of things. So I was kind of doing one of those, and we'll see what it looked like there. But that's the biggest thing for me. If you had your druthers, today, what would the group realistically look like? I know I don't want a weak group for the. If you were to sit there and go to, if you wanted to have the U.S. in a Group D, what would your Group D look like realistically? I don't want it to be like, well, I want North Macedonia, and I want, so and so, and I want this and I want that. No, it's like, what is the group going to look like for you? Seriously, what would that group look like for you? That's what I want. I think that if you look for expectations for the United States, obviously get out of group, get to the round of 16. So get out of group, win a knockout, get to the round of 16. But then when you get into the bracket and you get into the knockouts, literally it's whatever you get into at that point. It honestly is, when it comes to the knockout stages, I mean, you could have chaos. You absolutely could have chaos. So the idea is to get out of group and then focus on what happens around you. Look at your brackets and things, and then you also index, and I'll show this to you as well. And it's not in color, and I apologize for that because I didn't want to burn my color ribbons. So here is the rundown of the matches themselves. Here's the rundown of the matches themselves. So you end up with, if you say 1D, so let's say the U.S. wins their group. Well, let's just say they win their group. If I'm reading this correctly, it would proceed to 1D. Where is 1D on this thing? Okay, so low left. Low left would be if you win your group. Here's where the U.S. would be if you win your group. You win your group, and you end up low left. Match 81 would be the first one that you stare at. Match 81. Then it would be against the number 3 team out of any one of 5 groups. B, E, F, I, or J. So like I said, if I'm reading this correctly, let's say the U.S. wins Group D. So 1D would play the 3 team out of either Group B, E, F, I, or J. Then you go from there, and it could be the team that would be, you win your group, your round of 16 would be against the winner of Group G, unless the number 3 team out of Group A, E, H, I, or J was to work their way through. So if you're optimistic where the United States is concerned, keep an eye on Group G. You lead Group D, you win your knockout, your first one in the round of 32, you might end up playing the top team in Group G for your round of 16 matchup. And then you go from there, and it could be the team that is either winning Group H, the 2 in J, the 2 in L, the 2 in K. That would be the pathway to get you out of low left, which is where you are in your bracket when it comes to the United States. So United States, keep in mind, everything, 1D, anything with a D is where you are. If you were number 3 in your group and you made it in, you could be going up against Group I's champ, those kinds of things. So that's what you're staring at here with appendices and all that stuff. But yeah, you got Group D and all of the stuff that is included in all of that. So that would be the fun part when it comes to today, as you sit there and you're locking it all down and you're going, that's how this kind of works. I'm going to try and do something here. And if there's chaos that happens, I apologize, because I'm load something that is going to be playing in hour number 2. And so it is, let's see. So that's Maddie's video in the 10 o'clock. So it literally is trying to find, and if it plays, I apologize ahead of time, and I apologize if I've blown out your ears if it loads. So I am literally trying to, okay, so I'm supposed to upgrade my account. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm supposed to upgrade my account. How does that happen? Legitimately, how is that supposed to happen if I'm uploading a video? Literally, that's all I'm trying to do. Yeah, no. Oh, okay, so it is a, so it's larger than 2 gigs. Okay. So, well, what if I'm trying to figure out, okay, never mind. Like I said, I'm trying to play a video that's like, trying to play a video that is, in fact, 6.5 gigs. Okay. So I was trying to do something while we were loading, but anyway. Okay. All right. So it looks like Ricky has done some preliminary math. And it is, if the U.S. finishes runner-up in their group and wins their round 32, round of 16 would be in Atlanta if he's reading it correctly. Okay. So if he's reading it correctly, then we always like the idea of matches in this particular part of the planet. I'm looking forward to seeing what group, obviously, with what Group H looks like, seeing what the Group A matchup looks like, what C and K look like, obviously. So the layout for the Mercedes-Benz matches, it is legitimately, it is 2 out of Group H, 1 from Group A, 1 from Group C, 1 from Group K. So you have that as your backgrounder for when it comes to who could be doing what and where. I'm intrigued. And like I said, that's the fun part. Like I said, it's supposed to be, 12:30 to 12 to 2:30 or whatever. I'm thinking halfway point, and then you probably go through what? If you go through, here's what I'm thinking is going to happen with the program. You end up with the drawing of all of the 3. You get Mexico, Canada, and U.S. drawn. They go into their slots. Then my guess is that they pick up all the other number 1s. They lay them in the line. Then you get another break. You might get Kevin Hart talking about what's going on in the world of soccer. I'm guessing after they lay out all of the 1s in the rest of the groups, then that's when they'll take another break. And then they'll figure out what the world is. And then they'll do all pot 2s. Then they'll do the 2s. Then they'll do all the 3s. And then they'll do all the 4s. Or maybe they'll do 3 and 4 together. But I think that after they line up all of the 1s, then I think you'll end up with what it's going to look like. Okay, so we have a company. It's our mogul in training. We'll see what's going on with our mogul in training. I'll see if I can hear him, which would see if that would mean that if I actually wired everything correctly. And Michael Parkhurst is here. So, no, I'm not trying to add anything. See, this is what happens, Cap, when I'm trying to...
I'm just kidding. I didn't actually say anything.
Well, no, but the thing was, for me, I'm trying to do things remotely, and I don't want to add any media. I just don't. I don't want to add any media right now. And so the computer is sitting there, and it's being all moody and everything because I'm on a remote. There we go. There's Michael Parkhurst. Okay, so hi, Cap. How you doing?
Hello, John. Great, thanks. How you doing?
It is that day where are you going to with that thing on your crest there? Are you going public, or are you going to be watching in private? What are you doing today?
Private. I got some meetings this morning, and I'll be watching from my house.
Okay, good deal. When it comes to the United States in and of itself, what is your I guess your wish list when it comes to this tournament? What do you want them to accomplish? And I guess going realistically, what you think they're going to do, what you want to do. They might be 2 different things. They might be the same thing. What are you anticipating from the U.S. in this tournament?
Yeah, realistically, get out of the group. And then hopeful that we can get to a quarterfinal. I think getting out of the group is, you have to win the group. You have to win the group in order to give yourself a better chance of actually winning a game after you get out of the group.
Right.
That's the problem we've had the last few World Cups, right? It's just when we do get out of the group, we get a powerhouse. We get somebody good, and that's tough. So, yes, of course, the ultimate goal, or the number 1 goal, is to get out of the group. But if we want to make a quarterfinal or better, got to win the group.
When you've looked at what Mauricio Pochettino has done and, working on it, you kind of have in a perfect world the idea of, okay, I kind of know who my 1 through 11 is, or maybe my 1 through 13. Him working on 13 through 26, 13 through, what was your looking at Pochettino on the timeline? What were you kind of up and down with it, or were you down with what he was doing when you were looking at this group heading into the World Cup? What were you looking at with Pochettino and what he was trying to do out there in all these friendlies and all these matches?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I think that he, in his mind, had probably a set 12 to 14, 15 guys that he expects to be on the roster
Mm-hmm.
Now things can change with injuries, of course, but I think that some of the rotation in the last few games has kind of been to see who's going to step up, who can I count on in some of these games to be either a starter for the group if need be, or at the minimum part of the 23. So yeah, it made sense to me why I was rotating a little bit, bringing some guys in that hadn't been in, testing the waters with some guys, because a lot can happen still between now and the World Cup, right? We still have 7 months. There's a lot of soccer to be played.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even count out somebody like Musa, who hasn't really been a part of the setup here recently, but for me, he was one of our best players like a few years ago. So, things can still happen.
What was it like for you? I think it was 25 caps for the U.S. If that's the number.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, I think.
And then you had the time with the Olympics too. What was it like for you when you got that first nod for the to wear your country's colors? What was it like when they finally said, "Yep, dude, you've made it. We want you here, and we want you to be a part of this"? What was that first moment like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think my first cap was out in LA. It was in the Gold Cup, and I wasn't expecting. I think it was my second year as a pro. Third year as a pro, 2007. And I wasn't expecting a call up. And it came, and I had no idea what to expect or what it was about. I wasn't really part of any youth national teams. I wasn't part of full teams obviously prior to that. So all brand new to me. But then to get the opportunity to go, and I was a young player on a very veteran roster, but I got to play 2 games in the Gold Cup group stage, and that was pretty cool because I didn't even dress for the rest of the Gold Cup, but just to be part of the team and the experience and see the guys and be around the group and all that is just phenomenal. And yeah, of course, to make your debut with the red, white, and blue is it's every kid's dream.
Where is that jersey? Does it still exist anywhere? Is it under glass?
It needs to be under glass. I have it. Like a lot of things, I haven't gotten to putting jerseys under glass yet, John, but someday it'll happen.
Do I need to get the boss to help you out with, because she's really good at finding those shadow boxes? Do I need to get her to help you out with these things?
You know what? I was at Greg's house this past weekend, and he had a bunch of his jerseys hung up, and it inspired me. So I'm like, you know what? I can get it done. I need to do it. It's been a while. So it'll happen.
Okay. All right. When you have the opportunity to, when you're talking to your mentees, when you and Greg are talking to your mentees, how often does the national, international experience come up as a part of conversations about, yes, you can do this, yes, you can apply yourself. This is something to look at. I learned this from hanging out with older teammates representing my country. How much of that conversation comes up when you're talking to your mentees?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we definitely like to bring it up just because it gives us credibility for players that are young and don't know us very well. So that's always helpful. But yeah, there's lessons learned. One is I always bring up my experience with the under-17 national team. I wasn't part of the team, but I got to train with them for, 2 or 3 weeks, and it was brutal. Worst experience of my life.
Really?
Yeah, I hated it. It was tough. Your story. So I always tell kids like, I never hated soccer before. I wanted to go to practice every day, until I was with them, and then I couldn't wait for practice to be over. I didn't want to go to practice the next day. Seriously. So it's a good experience for me in the long run. But I talk about that, and I talk about pressure of dealing with the Olympics and wearing the colors and things like that, and what it brings, and how getting to that there was a lot of steps along the way. It wasn't just I was a national team player my whole life.
Oh, come on now. I mean, to apply yourself through all these different elements of your life to get these call ups, to be trusted upon, to get more and more call ups, to be a part of things. You know, it's something. Obviously, do you have the conversations with other national team friends of yours and compare notes about the experience now that you're retired and talk about what it is and where the U.S. team is now? Do you ever reminisce with all of your teammates at all when it comes to this?
Every now and then, because one of my best experiences in soccer, honestly, was the 2013 Gold Cup.
Yeah.
It was such a great group of guys. It was one of those summers where there was World Cup qualifying. So the first team guys, which I was part of that at the time, there were some World Cup qualifying games. And then a lot of the top guys got their rest of their summer off to have a break, while, you know, the B team essentially went to go play in the Gold Cup. And so I stayed on with the national team and played in the Gold Cup. And it was just an amazing group of people. And we had the best time together and really enjoyed the whole group. And it was such a special time and great energy and good vibes. And we won the tournament. And I reminisce about that sometimes with guys because it was so much fun.
Do you guys does it by Zoom? Is it group call? Do you sit there and come over to the Casa de Parkhurst and sit there and just have like 19 beers and, you know, mess around in the backyard? What is that?
No, it's either text message when something happens, right? All of a sudden an old text message group will pop up, or it's like when we're at an event or something, you know. I'm sure there's guys together right now because of the World Cup stuff, or there's random meetups for things that, you know, conversations will spur.
How big, for someone who isn't necessarily a follower of the sport where we are on a daily basis, for someone who might be just walking into this experience and seeing all of the pomp and circumstance and everything going on here around the country today, how big a deal is this to soccer in the United States to be a host of a World Cup? For someone who might just be walking in the door and sitting there going, okay, yeah, big deal, Super Bowl, World Series, whatever. How big a deal is this?
Yeah. It's tough to state, right, how big it is. I think it really is, because so many of the events that we think of as big, right, like the Super Bowl, is just a game. Now it's like all of NFL playoffs and NBA playoffs were all together at the same time. If every sport in the US had all their playoffs at the same time, that would be almost as equivalent to the World Cup. You know, and it's just that eyes from everywhere are going to be on our country and the facilities and the experience. You know, it's going to bring a lot of players to facilities of MLS teams, of college teams, like into the country. And so they're going to be able to also see kind of what's going on with soccer in this country. So it's a big opportunity for us to grow the game firsthand with a lot of players, but fans as well, sponsors. There's just so much that is involved in such a big tournament like this. And you talk about money. I mean, goodness gracious, the amount of money that's going to be pumped in right now with the World Cup. It's on another level.
Are you going to get to enjoy it at all, or are you going to be working it as a combination mogul in training and U.S. national team player and former MLS, legend and MLS Cup winner, all these kinds of things? Are you going to be having to balance like 19 different personalities, or are you going to get to enjoy it at all?
I hope so, John. I hope for both.
Yes.
I don't have any plans right now. I would like to be a part of some experiences and some games or appearances or whatever it is, to be at some events. That would be amazing. I definitely want to get to a game or two. I think I'm going to save my big ask, I think, will be for like the semifinal in Atlanta.
That's
okay. If I'm going to if I'm going to actually stick my neck out and actually ask for tickets, it'll probably be for that game. So that's
okay.
a big ask too. So we'll see.
Okay, because what I've just done,
things are not going well, I will not be afraid to throw out on social media, if anybody has space in a suite or any extra tickets or anything, I will have no shame when it comes to being able to get into the door and see a big game.
Oh, okay. Well, what I've, since you know me and legal pads, I have written down here, Michael Parkhurst wants to be a part of things at the World Cup. I have it written down right here.
That sums it up.
See, and now that I've written it down, it is now going to be committed to memory because I can't remember anything these days. So what I do is I do this, kind of like Karnak the Magnificent, and go by osmosis. So Michael Parkhurst wants
kid that's flipping through the book, and he's just like trying to feed the words into his brain.
That I wish. So maybe I was able to do that like 700 years ago. Me and Theodoric of York. We were like, But okay, so I have it written down. Our mogul in training wants to be a part of things at the World Cup. So, well, you never know. I'm just saying, there might be a network that might be interested in having you come and hang out every once in a while. Just saying. I'm just putting it out there, just as an idea.
Hey.
I mean, you and I talk regularly, but I figured it's just something to maybe put it under that backward hat of yours. Just kind of sit there and file it away. When you look at the United States and how the sport has grown, I mean, I will readily admit, as I said, since I'm 712 years old, I readily admit that when 94 happened, I bought the gear. I still have the gear buried someplace in some storage locker somewhere. Adidas was ahead of the curve when they had all the 94 gear. I got it all. When it comes to where the sport has come from 94 to now, what has it been like for you to be a part of it as a professional and an international player and player for the United States, and see what has it been like for you to see this growth curve to where we're talking about Cabo Verde and New Caledonia and DR Congo and Haiti and Curacao and Suriname? What's it been like for you to see the game grow the way that it has internationally?
Yeah, I was 10 years old in 94 and still at a time probably when baseball overtook soccer. So I remember watching some games here and there on the small tubed TV that we had in the kitchen. But I also remember like being outside in the pool when, I forget if it was like a semifinal or it was a big game going on. And we were out in the pool, and I was just kind of like every now and then, hey, what's the score of the game? So I don't know. I watched way more baseball than I did soccer back then. But I could tell you, my early experiences in MLS, saw what a massive change in my career just from 2005 to 2019, and that difference. But that kind of emulates the difference of U.S. soccer as well and where we've come. I know that we've had some success here and there, like 2002, great success, and then not much success. He gone. I don't know if I'm still alive or if John isn't.
What's going on with you were you a Root fan growing up? What were you?
You're back. Red Sox.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you were. Okay. So did you have the? Did you have anything? Was that where you were? And now we're drifting in and out with connections. Darn connections.
Yeah, I can hear you on and off. Yeah, I was a big, like, Nomar Garcia Parra was
Noma. Okay, gotcha. You were Noma. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, Manny Ramirez.
So when did you convert from Manram and Noma to soccer, to following it more than you did baseball?
When I turned pro.
Okay.
Yeah. When I turned pro. I mean, I went to MLS games when the Revs came into town in '96. I went to some Revs games. So, you know, I definitely watched soccer, but it wasn't on TV that much. We were watching the Red Sox 5 nights a week. So it's just different back then, right? We didn't have the access that we have now. Right? I'd catch a Champions League game, you know, every now and then if I could rush home from school and see it in time and things like that. But other than that, I wasn't a ton on. So I didn't watch a ton of soccer until I turned pro, really, and then started watching a lot more.
Okay. So now that you can pretty much pick a channel any day of the week, and I'll get back to my original question, you know, so what's it been like for you to see where we're talking about all these other, the 68 countries that we're discussing, where we're finding out, we have to find out what's going on in Oceania in the playoff. You know, we've got to find out about New Caledonia, and we got to find out about Cabo Verde, and, you know, Steven Moreira, who's going to be playing in a World Cup for his home nation, who's, we know, from Columbus Crew. All of these different kinds of combinations. We're having to be sickos almost when it comes to finding out who's going to be playing in this tournament. I think that's kind of the cool factor here.
It is cool. And there's been the sickos around for a long time, right? But that group of sickos or people that are just curious or into it has grown substantially, right? Now we're going to have watch parties throughout the country just for the draw, right? Where it was like, man, you had to really plan stuff to get a watch party to watch a game. And now it's just for the draw, right? And so, yeah, it's a big difference. I mean, it's huge. I don't think some people in mainstream media or sports really understand what it's going to be like next summer, as far as some of these atmospheres, some of these games, the intensity of it, the emotions, the passion, hopefully not spilling over in any capacity, right? But we all saw what happened in Miami, you know, and so hopefully we're all aware of what can entail the good and the bad, because there's such passion. I mean, gosh, you see some of these qualifiers and what happens. Oh my God, the Ireland one, amazing, right? I mean, Scotland, it's just incredible, some of these games. And now we're, you know, times that by 10 is going to be some of these World Cup games.
I have like synopses of all 64 teams right here. It's a handful of pages. Is there any team? So since Michael Parkhurst wants to be a part of things at the World Cup, what teams do you want to see? Obviously, we can pretty much watch every match. But if you had your druthers and wanting to see somebody in person, what teams are on that list for you?
Yeah, well, I have a problem, John, because the two of the European teams that I'd really want to be in the World Cup are now in the same bracket of the playoff.
Oh no.
And that is Denmark and Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem for me.
He's going to be married into playoff D. It's like, forget the others. So it's like, well, so then but the problem, okay, so Denmark and North Macedonia. North Macedonia, for me, literally, if you have problems sleeping, watch North Macedonia. They're going to be like, okay, kick about, and we'll try to bore you to death and have a staring contest. And, you finally made a mistake and lost focus. Then that's when they capitalize. So Denmark, North Macedonia, playoff D, and then Czechia and Ireland. Dude, you in late March, you're going to be a mess looking at playoff D. This is going to, I need a camera. I need a camera in the Casa de Parkhurst. When playoff D is going to be busting out. I got to see this.
I know. Well, if they play each other in the final, you know, it's going to be a no-win, but also going to be a no-lose. I mean, I really root for both of those countries. So if they're both in the final, I'll be happy because I'll know one of them gets to the World Cup. Okay.
So you mentioned Denmark and Ireland. Obviously, I know a lot of folks will sit there and they want to see this Messi dude from Argentina. I know a lot of folks might want to sit there and look at Portugal and find out how CR40 maintains his abs through his chicken diet. It's like Wade Boggs and CR40. Literally, those are the two dudes that just eat chicken, and that's it. That's just their thing. So Portugal would be on there. Argentina would be on there. Obviously, the U.S. would be on there. Who else is on your to-do list other than UEFA Playoff D?
Yeah, I mean, England's always interesting to watch just because so many of their players are well known.
Is it coming home, Michael? Is it coming home?
I sure as heck hope not. English fans are so obnoxious. But I mean, I like watching Colombia play, the passion that they bring, and these South American games are just loco. So I do enjoy watching them play. I mean, I really hope we don't get grouped with Morocco for a bunch of reasons, but they are nice to watch as well. Even though they've got our number right now at every level.
Yeah, don't remind me about the U tournaments that happened recently either. I remember those. Yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm one of those underdog sicko types where. Give me Cabo Verde, give me New Caledonia, give me the Minnows, give me Jordan, give me Uzbekistan. I want to see how in this expanded field, subset question coming up, how these Minnows respond in this tournament. I want to see Haiti. I want to see how they respond. I want to see Curacao and how they respond. The Minnows, for me, give me a good story. It's like everybody's going to be chasing after this Messi dude in Argentina trying to repeat, and Cristiano Ronaldo and his abs, and Mbappe missing a key opportunity, in a semifinal or something like that. Give me the young guys. Give me the new guys. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. That would be fun. That would be fun to see somebody like, I don't know, New Zealand or Ghana or.
Hey, get Morera to get you some tickets for Cabo Verde, man.
Hey, we are really hoping that there's a big population in Rhode Island, and so we're hoping that they are based in Boston. That would be amazing if they had some games in Boston and could even train at our facility or be around or something, because there's a lot of Cape Verdeans in Rhode Island. So that would be awesome. I'll definitely be rooting for them.
So is Providence a host city? Do we know about that yet?
We don't know yet. There is a facility. One of the colleges is up in the running for that. I don't know when those decisions are made, but I have not heard.
Oh, come on. I mean, look, you get a host city in Providence. They get to go to your barn. They get to eat amazing Italian food up on the hill. I mean, they get the carbs. They're locked in. I mean, where can you go wrong here, man?
John, we tried a few years ago to try and get people within the government in Rhode Island to understand the opportunity that was ahead of them and to help us create a training ground, not only for Rhode Island FC, but that would entice a team to come to Rhode Island, have its base camp. Because honestly, Providence is a very ideal spot. It's on the East Coast. It's easy transport, easy airport, a lot of pros, but it's not easy to get things done in that state, and they don't plan, forecast, and understand a lot of things, John. So when you leave things to the last minute,
yes.
Well, we've got the 2031 Women's World Cup, so right,
that's true.
Potentially, maybe by then, John.
Well, because I mean, the 2031, I think that's going to be in like late March, April, somewhere like March the 26th. I think in line with UEFA Playoff D is when they're having the Congress in Vancouver to announce the 31 World Cup, which will be here, which will give everybody that 5-year runway, which really isn't a 5-year runway, to get things squared away. So Rhode Island FC. And unfortunately, I'm not wearing the RIFC. Am I? No, I'm wearing my Marshall Island shirt today. The RIFC shirt is clean, but it gives that 5-year runway to get folks squared away, because Providence, that airport is right there in the middle. One way. You're like an hour either way to go into Boston or go the other way. It is right there. Okay, let's go ahead and make the public plea. It's 5 years away, but it's not 5 years away, Providence.
It's not.
It's not. You got to work at it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you. So are you going to be locked in a room for the draw? What are you doing? You just going to kind of kick back in the den, or are you going to lock in a room and yell and scream?
No, Deacon and I are going to be chilling, watching it on the big screen, hanging out. I mean, it is what it is. So hopefully we get a favorable draw. Hopefully the scheduling gods are with us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I imagine that Deacon will not waver from current form. I imagine Deacon's kind of just right now. Am I wrong?
She's got the routine down, John, as you know.
Yes, for this segment, Deacon's laid out in the bed. Absolutely true. Great to see you, my friend, on this massive day for U.S. soccer. Go enjoy. Maybe give Deacon a nudge. Who knows? Just leave Deacon alone or whatever. We'll be circling back in. And like I said, I have it written down right here. Michael Parkhurst wants to be a part of things at the World Cup. I have it written down.
I need to write it down so I can, get this thing into existence.
See, but I mean, it's already here. Here's the first stage. You can get it working there too. Have a fantastic day. Chain blows up and the group stage comes out and you find out what's going on. We'll catch you, my friend. Thanks for everything you do. Thanks for hopping on with us on a very important day when it comes to U.S. soccer.
Of course. Enjoy, John.
Be good. And it's Michael Parkhurst, everybody. And it's great for Parky to come in. So Michael Parkhurst wants to be a part of things at the World Cup. Hang on just a second. Let me grab my drink. Okay, there we go. All right. Thanks to Jen for bringing it close. Very, very cool. All right. So apparently the U.S. soccer mascot has made its debut and did so during the Today Show this morning and was waving at people outside their studio in New York City. So the mascot does, in fact, exist. Very, very cool. So the mascot exists for U.S. soccer as they're getting ready for the Championship of Championships, the Copa del Mundo, here getting ready in about 6 months' time. All right, so it is the top of the hour. If there's anything else that we've missed that we talked about and breaking everything down, let's bring in Jarrett. Oh, Jarrett's here this morning. Okay, so Jarrett is dropping by. Morning, sir. What is on your mind as we have a happy draw day for the Copa del Mundo?
I need to know if that mascot got its shots or not.
Yeah, all right. So I'm not going to post not going to shoot. I want to going on. Very enthusiastic mascot, of course. Very enthusiastic. Okay, it is a very enthusiastic dog. And wearing jersey number 27, working its way through the crowd, doing high fives and everything like that. Okay, so yeah, it's a very, very enthusiastic dog, as a matter of fact. So we'll find out more about
number 27.
I don't know. I was wearing 27. I have no earthly idea why.
I'm trying to do the math.
I'm just as confused as you.
Is this the 27th World Cup
iteration?
Yeah, because that's the only thing. I'm not doing the multiplication of 4 by year right now.
Yeah,
I'm not in a position to do that. But also, I'm guessing maybe this is. I don't know. But I'm also
okay. Well, hang on. World Cup 2020. Let's see. World Cup history. Let's see if we can find World Cup history. What are you looking forward to the most today? And do you have the feeling of dread that the U.S. might end up in a group of death situation?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Misery is a choice.
Okay.
My stance on that is misery is a choice. This is a very fun day with the potential to be absolutely bonkers, and not just for the U.S., but for other countries, so we can get an idea of, not just our group, but what's going to be the group of death, what's going to be the easy group. We can kind of plot things out as we go. I'm not going to use my time to dread and worry about a worst-case scenario for the U.S. national team. I will leave that to someone else. If they want to complain and be scared, they can get a dog.
Yes.
I have better things to do with my life. This is the 23rd World Cup.
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Where are you? Are you hanging out? Or are you going?
I'm hanging out.
Okay.
This
Andrea
is a
Arnold, the city
holiday
manager of the
for
city of
me. You
Decatur,
kidding?
is here. It is a holiday. It is a national holiday. Andrea Arnold, the city manager of the city of Decatur, is here. So let me talk to her for a while. And then can you come back in like maybe 15, 20 minutes? Okay. Well, then come back in 15. That's sweet. So
Cool.
Jarrett's going to
I'll
come
see you
back in
then.
like 15 to 20. All right. There you go. Andrea, come on in. Right here. Here we go. Right there. So, yeah, I know. Real formal here as we go. That's you. Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right. So I know that we got a lot of scarves around. We got a lot of gear around.
We have
You
t-shirts.
see, we have the T-shirts and everything. Actually, tell you what. Come on, slide in and look. Yeah, there we go. There it is. So
I just met you, John.
it's perfectly fine. Well, I know, and like I said, I have a $20 fine coming to me when I get home because I left my band at home.
No.
Yeah, it's that is a fine that we instituted when the boss and I got married.
Yeah.
If we leave the house without it on, $20 fine goes in the jar. End of the year, we donate all the proceeds, which are mostly mine, to charity of our choice.
I like that.
Yeah, go ahead and bring it up closer. There you go. Yeah,
All right, there we go.
there it is.
All right.
Yeah, literally today is a big day, but it's taken a lot to get to this big day for you.
Right.
So when was the genesis of everything involving Decatur Watch Fest and the ideas getting ready for today, which is the next step, getting ready for 26? When did all of these discussions start?
I mean, I would say as soon as we knew that Atlanta had been selected as a host city,
Mhm.
then immediately the city of Decatur said, we have to be part of this. And when I say the city, that's the city commission for the city of Decatur. So we've got our 5 elected officials who are all in and said essentially to the city manager and staff and said, we need to make this happen. And so we've been working on this. I mean, easily we've been working on this for over a year. We had a steering committee named by the city commission in the I think it was summer of last year, and so we tapped into our great volunteer base and soccer fans and this group of people, our volunteers, our city staff. We've been working on this for over a year now, so we're excited that this day has finally come.
And there have been some really cool announcements about musical acts dropping by. BIGBOI, I think he's a part of this. Last time I checked.
Yeah, just a couple of small acts that you might have heard of. So yeah, the opening match, we've got Big Boy
Mhm.
coming to kick things off, and then we're gonna wrap it up with our very own Indigo Girls on July 19th. And then we'll have a smattering of other big name bands and also local and regional acts in between.
Well, for me, as someone who I guess you could call me a local, I have dual citizenship, California and Georgia. I went to high school in DeKalb County. And so and a lot of my friends went to Emory. I remember one time when it was a Friday night or something, and we went to this place called the Dugout. And the Dugout, I think, is where the Chipotle currently is on the western side of campus. The 5-star turnaround.
Right.
And you're heading, like, you head downhill and you would go to the CVS and to the Panera. Instead of that, you take that side road that takes you to the back of campus. On the left-hand side of the road, there used to be a place called the Dugout. My friends and I, on Friday nights and everything, when I would be in town, we go to the Dugout. I remember being mad one time having to pay a $2 cover. We just wanted to go in to shoot pool. We just wanted to go and shoot pool, and if we had to pay a $2 cover for these 2 college students that were playing acoustic guitars. And I'm like, well, what? No, we just want to go over here and play pool. No, you got to pay the $2 and then you can go play pool. That was my first exposure to Amy and Emily.
So that's a great story. I love it. So yeah, it's full circle, and you won't even have to pay $2. So this is going to be a free event.
When it comes to, you mentioned all of the manpower and everything and all of that. How many hours do you think you've sat in meetings to get everything all squared away here?
So probably too many to name. I mean, I'm sure, I mean, between all these people, I mean, hundreds of hours have been put into this. But, you know, if there's one thing that the city of Decatur can do really well, it's we can put on a festival.
No doubt.
So that's actually one of our 6-word slogans, Decatur. There's a festival for that. And so now we're going to take all those years of putting on festivals and events and put all that experience into this 34-day Watch Fest.
How many folks that were a part of this group to orchestrate everything when it comes to Watch Fest and everything, how many of you were soccer fans, soccer followers, whether it's Atlanta United or somebody overseas? How many of you going into this were soccer fans and understood what was going to go on?
So I would say that most of the people that were appointed to the steering committee, aside from just being really great residents or business owners and volunteers, these are people that we know them to be big soccer fans. I mean, some of them they still play soccer, they coach soccer. I mean, you know, Decatur. I mean, this is a soccer town. I mean, don't quote me on this, even though I'm saying it. You know, evidently we've got the highest percentage of Atlanta United ticket holders.
I mean,
here in the
hey,
city of Decatur.
It's all good.
So, I mean, again, if you ever get on the MARTA train going to Atlanta United game, they're all right here at Decatur Station or the East Lake Station, filling up the train because you know, Decatur shows up in force.
Well, and then you get Decatur FC. With the WPSL, and it is a league leader in attendance. All the gold stars and everything go to what they've been able to put together. And all you got to do is go to Decatur High School during WPSL season. You can't get a seat unless you have to go to the visitor side and go hang out there. And sometimes in the summer you go hang out under the tree, and that's really smart. But I mean, just the sheer number of folks that just go for women's soccer and show support for a new franchise is cool.
Yeah, no, that's been incredible. I mean, I didn't see that coming in terms of how the community rallied around Decatur FC. It's just been so fun. Like you said, I mean, the stands are full for the women's soccer matches. So I think that this Watch Fest event and, you know, the World Cup is only going to make it that much better for Decatur FC moving forward.
And you look at what we're seeing from the city of Decatur, and I'm looking forward to basically camping out here if they'll let me after today, you know, to camp out for this entire thing and see all of the different nationalities come to Decatur. I mean, honestly, you go to the market and you get to see this great diaspora of what Decatur is and what DeKalb County is, and see that, and to have that apply to the world game over a 34-day period. I think that's going to be another cool aspect of this, where everyone gets to come together and experience it.
Right. I mean, that's what we see this. This is going to be an opportunity to welcome the world to Decatur. You know, and it's not a stretch, like you said. I mean, it's already a, you know, super diverse area. I mean, we are a welcoming community, and that's what we want. That's what we're going to be all about during the Watch Fest and during the World Cup, is just, you know, really opening our arms and just welcoming the world to Decatur, into Atlanta.
When it comes to, you know, you mentioned all of the different meetings and everything, the logistics. I mean, how many logistical hurdles, and that I'm just putting that word as a placeholder. How much logistics goes into, okay, well, we need to figure out entertainment, we need to figure out infrastructure, we need to figure out, okay, how are we going to staff it with volunteers? I mean, this sounds like basically a committee for each and every single aspect of this that has to come together at that large rectangular table and have the same messaging going forward. How many different elements are you having to address here when it comes to making sure that it goes off the way that you want it to?
Right. I mean, there's probably a dozen of those elements.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and you've hit them right. And it's like the infrastructure. You know, we're already, you know, making improvements to, say, our crosswalks and our sidewalks, because, you know, people are going to be coming here. We anticipate that they'll be coming here on MARTA. We at least certainly encourage people to not drive if you can help it, and take MARTA here. I mean, we're already a you know, very pedestrian friendly, very bike friendly, but we just want to make sure that infrastructure is in place. But first and foremost, we want to make sure that this is a safe and secure event. And so that's where, you know, a lot of the planning is just making sure that, you know, that we've got the resources we need with our police and fire departments, just to make sure that this is going to be a safe and enjoyable event for everybody.
Do you, when you plan out, you're planning out at 100%, and then if you don't need as much. It's better to plan to 100% and not need it than, not plan to 100% and then, we really do need it.
Right. I mean, we'll certainly be overplanned and overprepared.
But you need to be in a situation like this.
Right. So, because this is different. I mean, we've never hosted, since the Olympics, haven't hosted an event of this scale, this magnitude. But we also, we did host the Olympics, and we had, very similar. There were watch parties, there were concerts, and the community came to Decatur then, and we expect it to be similar. So this isn't new to us.
How many different venues are we talking about here that are going to have watch parties? I know obviously you've got the renovations going on in Town Square, the gazebo and everything, and all of that. Are we having venues themselves with like TVs on in addition to what the city's doing? How many different restaurants and joints are going to sit there and say, yeah, come on in and, eat and we'll watch together? How many different places?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. I see this as a hybrid event. So the city does not plan to show every single match. I mean, there are over 100 matches. We're not going to show all those.
That 11 p.m. match out west in Seattle, it's not going to be out anywhere.
Right. So I may have a staff revolt on my hands if we do that. But it's a hybrid event between the city hosting and showing the matches and then encouraging people to go into our pubs and restaurants. And so you can go to DecaturWatchFest26.com.
There you go.
And you can see the watch spots where local businesses, they've already signed up, and when it gets closer to the event, they'll all have clings in their windows, announcing that they're a spot where you can come and watch the matches. So a lot of this is about making sure that our businesses are that they're going to benefit from this major tourist event, and so we do want to make sure that we're pushing visitors into the pubs and restaurants during this time.
Any kind of projections when it came to all of the meetings that we've been talking about? What's the economic impact projection? Anything like that come out at the meeting?
We're actually working with a professor at Emory. We speak
there you go.
on developing that economic impact report. So I know the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce, that they've done a report, and then we're going to, use similar data, but a little more granular to really have those numbers of what the impact's going to be on the city of Decatur.
Does it seem like it seems like today's draw day? Does it seem like it's 6 months out with all of the planning that you've done and all the planning you think you need to do, which hopefully isn't a whole lot, but does it seem like that it's just around the corner to you?
Now that the draw is here, it feels like that it's coming up fast. It's going to come up real fast. That June 11th date is going to be here before we know it, and which is why we've been working on this for over a year now. So we are ready. I mean, I think we feel very very confident and secure, and prepared for the first day of the match.
Are you comparing notes with other cities and counties and principalities based here in the Atlanta area? It's like, hey, we're doing this. Somebody dials you up. It's like, hey, I got a question. What are you guys doing? And are you guys comparing notes with other cities and things?
We've been asked to serve on a couple of panels. Actually, just 2 days ago, I got a call from a city council member in a suburb of Atlanta asking us, really picking our brain. So I would say it's more of cities contacting us and asking us about our lessons learned to date. But certainly that's what that's our responsibility, I feel like, as a municipality in the Atlanta area, is to share our lessons learned so that these other cities can be successful. Because I definitely, there's plenty to go around, and so whether it's Chamblee or Brookhaven or Alpharetta, I anticipate that they're also planning some sort of events, and that we all need to be coordinated and sharing these lessons learned.
Okay, since she said that, okay, comma, he asked, comma, what are some of those lessons that you've learned so far?
Again, I've talked about the safety and security. We need to make sure that we're going to have enough police officers and firefighters to be available. And we also understand that the city of Atlanta is also going to be asking cities and counties for their resources. And so that's a challenge that's being posed to us is, how do we make sure that we have our staff on hand when Atlanta is also going to be drawing on agencies from the metro area. And so I don't know if that's a lesson learned, but it's a caution that we're providing to the other cities. Also there's still a lot of uncertainty. We still we need to get the broadcast license to even show these matches. And so there are questions swirling around there. I'm sure that information will be coming to us soon, but we also have to bear. It's like, well, what if we don't have the broadcast license and we've made the decision, no matter what, we'll still go forward, with the event and with the concerts and other activities around Watch Fest. But again, I think a lot of it is just that scenario planning, making sure that there's a plan B and a plan C for anything that might happen.
What are your plan B and plan C's for sleeping and rest and making sure that you're at 100% during those 34 days? Or are you just postponing sleep until
July
August
20th?
1st?
Yeah, July 20th. I plan to take a long sleep.
No, but as always, great to see you. Don't be a stranger. If there's anything else going on with anything and everything going on, are you going to camp out here today? Or are you just going to like watch everything, or what are you doing?
Yeah, they've got me here all day. What is it?
Okay. You're just going to make sure. Yeah, no, that goes over there. This goes delegate.
Yeah, it's starting to look like a soccer pub to me. So I think it's been transformed.
Yeah, and we can't thank the city of Decatur enough. We can't thank Jen Johns. Can't thank y'all enough for giving us this runway to be a part of things in a very small way here with Decatur Watch Fest. Hit the website for me one more time.
So, Decatur Watch Fest 26.
There you go. And I've got the scarf. I know I need to find like more scarves, basically, but I've got the scarf in my studio, and it's over my left shoulder. So when I do the show every morning, everybody sees that Decatur Watch Fest scarf right there, front and center.
Have we gotten you a hat yet?
No, you have not.
Oh, all right.
But what I'll do is I'll swap you. Let's say I've got some SDH hats over there, so I'll swap you an SDH hat for a Decatur Watch Fest hat.
We'll do it.
Sweet. Great to see you. Don't be a stranger.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
And we'll have lunch over there after a little bit.
All right, see you there.
You got it. All right, there goes. Here, I'm a lefty, so let's go that way. Good to see you. So Andrea Arnold, hanging out, and she's gonna do real important things. She's gonna be making sure that everything goes swimmingly for the entire time. So we don't do commercials. You can go ahead and you can get and do your thing. It's all good. So thank you. All right, Andrea Arnold once again, City Manager, City Decatur. Great to have her here, and we get to find out. Yeah, Abby, I will say hi to Jen for you as we go. Let me text Jarrett. Let Jarrett come back in. It appears, and we're trying to upload it. Maddie did a really cool package with a lot of the colleges in and around the city and around the state about the foreign players and what it's like for them to be playing here in the state of Georgia and all of that. And so the file size might be too big. At least it was too big for me to upload into our system. So we might have to chop it up into little pieces, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so let me text Jarrett. Jarrett back in. Nino Torres set to drop by, and he'll be with us at 10:40, and he will break down CONMEBOL for us and with us, and we'll break it all down here as we get ready for once again. We have, like I said, I have all 64 remaining sides. I have them all right here. So it is right here, and we'll go through CONMEBOL with Nino Torres coming up at 10:40, and then we will hand it off to Maddie and Jason over at the Brewhouse, and we'll let them get it all squared away, and they will take you up to the draw itself. And then after the draw, then they'll come back live on the network from Brewhouse. They'll go from like 2-4-ish. That's kind of the idea right now. And so 2:30 to 4, they will be a part of it. And then they will come back live and break down everything. Jarrett Smith rejoining us before Nino Torres drops in about 15 minutes. It is one of those days where you get to catch up with a Michael Parkhurst. You get to find out how special it is for him. we got to catch up with the city manager of the city of Decatur with Decatur Watch Fest 26 coming around. So, Jarrett, if you wandered over to someone who's not a soccer fan and they were wondering about all of the to-do and all of the busy work and what's going on here, how would you welcome them into the tent on a day like today so they understand how big a day this is, not just for soccer in the U.S. or in this hemisphere, but for soccer in general? How would you break that down for folks?
Wouldn't dumb it down for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna insult people about it. We're not gonna hold their hand up. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. They're gonna do this. Okay, now it's gonna be scary. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna have a real conversation about, hey, so there's a bunch of teams. They're gonna draw them, and we're gonna get into a pot. If you got any questions about any of these teams, ask them. And then you honestly, if you just look at the people around you, listen to the people around you, you'll get an idea if something's good or not. You'll get an idea if a team is liked, if a team is respected, if good things are expected, if bad things are expected. The people around you will let you know. Look for the helpers around you. That's kind of the go-to here. But it should be it should be a fun day for everyone, whether you are hardcore into this or not. Because it's going to be a spectacle, and it's going to be a spectacle beyond just on the field. We know what the city of Atlanta can throw down. We know what other cities in the North American tectonic plate are capable of throwing down.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to limit it to one country.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, we know what CONCACAF is capable of. The rest of the world finds out every 4 years, and then they kind of get sideways about it. They get mad about it. But we know what CONCACAF can throw down, and so it should be a party next summer for everybody, whether you're going to the games or not. Teams are going to be training. You're going to have people from out of the country coming in to visit. It should just be exciting. Yeah, man. I mean, I wouldn't dumb it down. It would just be like open the tent up and, hey, come on in, boys. The water's fine.
Is there anyone that you are looking forward to seeing more than the average bear? Who if you had your druthers? I mean, like I said, I'm drawn, and I was talking to Parky about this. I said, I'm drawn to the minnows. Give me the first timers. Give me the new guys. Who are you wanting to see in this here environment? Who are you looking for?
Some of this all is subjective on how, and we can talk about this with Nino, or you can discuss it with him about the playoff, because if Bolivia gets through, how much fun that would be. Obviously they're not going to play in La Paz, so they're not going to make people suffer.
I know.
But it'd be fun to see them to make it, because for so long it's been kind of like that. Bolivia has been that team, I think, for those of us in North America, where they're a fun team to talk about because, they play roughly half their games, 2-3 miles above sea level.
Yeah, Denver ain't nothing to La Paz. If you ain't been there, if you haven't done it in a smoky night in La Paz, Denver ain't nothing for you.
So I think it's 12,000 feet above sea level. And they've kind of been a novelty, I think, in people's minds about that, because it's kind of like, they leave half their team there. They send half their team to go lose away games, and they try and make things happen home. But they made a qualifier. They're in a playoff. This is an exciting thing. It would be amazing to see Bolivia get through this. I would be tickled. I'm excited to see Spain because the idea of Lamine Yamal popping up in your city is really cool. That's just amazing. There's a non-zero chance we could have more of the British Isles, other than obviously Scotland's through, but Ireland also is still alive here. And this is one I would, you talk about the things I would show or tell to someone who isn't familiar with it. Show them the clip of Ireland at the death rescuing their chance at a World Cup. with a gutsy hat trick.
Oh man,
Like, show them that moment. Let them listen to the Irish announcers. It's
absolutely.
like, yeah, everyone knows about the Three Lions. That's fine, but like, you get Ireland in here too. You know, Scotland's going to be in here. I don't know what to expect for Scotland, but like, give us some of these with the expanded format. Give us some of these really good, fun stories, John.
Yep. And question from Ricky, and I think this is easier to understand, the FIF draw or the CFP playoff selection, with a laughing emoji.
Oh, it's the draw. To put this into perspective, the CFP dinged Vanderbilt because they absolutely demolished Tennessee.
Ridiculous.
But somehow like gave props to Bama for squeaking out a win against a dead Auburn team.
I know. Yeah.
The FIFA World Cup situation, this draw is much easier to understand. Like, you're gonna see where teams go in the pots. It's fine. You'll get a good idea of where teams go. The college football playoff, it does not make sense. The people who make the decisions do not make sense. So therefore,
no. Yes, therefore, yeah, and Thomas could win. Bama should always have been ahead of Notre Dame anyway. Would you wish a group of death upon? Portugal, France.
France is fun because we went through this stretch where we got one of two teams at the World Cup with France. It was either the team that was capable of burning everyone's village down as they rolled through, or the team that would stage an internal coup.
Yeah.
And there's something genuinely enjoyable about that for me. Kind of like Auburn football, where expectations are often subverted one way or another.
Oh boy, you had to bring the
good
boss in there. There you go.
If you have good expectations, bad things will happen, and vice versa.
Absolutely true. Yes.
There's a
Shoot,
little
you can
bit-
say the same thing about me and Florida State, man. Come on.
I was going to leave you alone.
Why? When did that ever stop you?
Because you kept your coach.
Yeah, from $45 million worth of a buyout that we can't afford. We obviously kept him.
Yeah.
Come on now.
But yeah, man, this is just France would be fun. Portugal, like, is this Ronaldo's last World Cup? Is he going to try and do one more after this?
He'll go as long as his abs will carry him, or his ego, one of the two.
But here's the thing, and we can talk about this till the cows come home. Portugal might be a better team with Ronaldo on the bench.
Yes, absolutely true.
Like, we might be at that point. You wanted to, like, to the American comparison. It's like with Carl when America was like, you know what, we're at our best when Carly Lloyd and Megan Rapinoe were coming off the bench because their time has passed where they can be 90 minutes effective, and Ronaldo's getting there, in my opinion. And you can't build everything around him and have it function the same way. So build it not around him and let him come on in certain situations to wreak havoc. It would be funny if Ronaldo ends up in a group of death. Just for that reason. England, of course, would always be funny because the BBC would take 5 minutes away from covering the ashes in Joe Root's century.
Yes.
Which was great that was great, by the way, until Australia came up to bat and just thumped the living hell out of the English bowlers. I think they're up 45 runs in the second inning. So the second test. Australia won the first test of the Ashes. They're up in the second one. I think they're up like 40 runs, but I'm not 100% sure. They'll take a break from the Ashes long enough to lament a group of death. And look, like, Sky and BBC are always fun when they get to kind of lament things. So that would be fun from my perspective.
Yes. So that would be, for me, I don't know. To see England in a group of death, to see Portugal in a group of death, to see France in a group of death, even though I don't think that they would do that, it would probably be somebody like a Germany in a group of death, maybe, or a Belgium in pot one. That would be kind of it wouldn't necessarily be one of like the favorites, but it would be somebody who's like a B+ player, like a Daniel Bryan, that you would end up with that in that particular vein. You would end up with that kind of a behavior. Like I said, that's just me thinking out loud. Do you think the U.S.'s path is going to be matter of fact? Do you think that there's going to be a trip up in the group? Do you think that it's going to be a weak group because they're a host? What do you think?
I don't know what to think yet. I hope, like selfishly, yeah, I hope it's an easy group because you want to get through. You want to make this as far as you can. But there's tricks, and there are like snake pits in this draw because of teams that got forced into the playoffs, for whatever reason through their own mistakes or somebody overachieving.
Yes.
So it's tricky, man. Like you could end up with a very like highly dysfunctional Italy.
Yes.
In the fourth in the bottom of the pot.
Don't start it. Nick wants Italy out, so we don't have to worry about it.
Here's the thing, though. Like, you could convince me that, like, yes, Italy's dysfunctional. You could convince me that they somehow get through, and then they're just a pain in the ass for everyone to deal with. Entirely possible. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, you want an easy draw because you want to just be able to roll through, and not have to, and you want to be able to get into those knockout games where in 90 minutes anything can happen. And some of this is also my personal feeling that, first of all, perish the thought that we actually give a national team manager time to kind of put things together.
No, we can't have that.
No,
not allowed.
But you have Pochettino putting things together, and I personally feel like the fight and kind of the sandpaper on this national team is different than it has been in years past in a way that would make them very miserable to play against in a 90-minute one-off. And that's what you want. Get through the group stage, turn it into a 90-minute one-off, and then just be an absolute pain for other countries to deal with. You have the talent and the individual talent to make amazing things happen on a whim. But you also have some guys on that team who bring the sandpaper that you need to bring to grind out those 90-minute games. So I'm really excited about that potential.
Yeah. If I have my appendices right here, or appendixes, I have them right here. And I have my grid for the round of 32. And I mentioned it in hour number 1 that with Group D being Group D, if the United States was to win their group, let's just say, then they would play a third place team. But then the group that you have to pay attention to is Group G, because if they get that knockout game taken care of in the round of 32, round of 16 would be the top team in Group G to get out of your mini bracket. So just something to kind of keep, on your sheet of paper as you go here this afternoon. Keep an eye on Group G, because Group D, if the U.S. wins there, they get the knockout, then they would play the winner of Group G in that round of 16. I think that that's the target for a lot of folks, is that they want to see the U.S. get out of the round of 32. They want to win a knockout game, get into the round of 16, and whatever happens, because brackets are brackets and be broken very, very easily. So just kind of keep a side eye on Group G today, is when the draw is taking place. Just keep an eye on that one, because then that might be your round of 16 if you get past that third place team in any one of 5 particular groups, depending on the scoring. So Group G is your spot shadow when it comes to your second layer of research today.
And yeah, and we'll kind of just figure out how it all plays out as it goes along. And yeah, and it won't even be like, John, I don't think it'd even be like you can look at it when it's done, but you can watch the whole thing happen and just kind of see the vision as it's coming. You know what I mean? Like you can look and say like, this is what this group looks like.
Yeah, there's
so
that.
If we're then this is the path we would have to travel. And then you start thinking like, it's going to be these traditional powers. I mean, maybe. It could be Morocco coming up and just punching people in the face again.
Yeah, pot 2. So seriously, if you look at pot 2, since you mentioned Morocco, let's go to pot 2 real quick. Croatia, Morocco, Colombia, Uruguay, Switzerland, Japan, Senegal, Iran, South Korea, Ecuador, Austria, and Australia.
Australia is like, if you're being selfish and saying, I need somebody out of that pot who you want to be careful how you talk about this because you don't mean it disrespectfully.
Yes.
But someone who I think I can have a chance against, can I please have Australia?
Yeah.
And again, not as a disrespect thing, but as I feel like styles make fights, and that fight could be doable. You could get an Ecuador team that I don't know, like the Ecuadorian fans are possibly maybe actively staging a coup against Sebastian Becasese.
Boo. Come on,
they
man.
are not happy. They are not happy with Becasese.
See, that's not allowed. I'm sorry. That is not allowed. Not happening.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with Japan.
No.
I don't want anything to do with South Korea.
No.
I know.
Don't want Morocco. No shot. Don't want it. Ricky is like, no Morocco, no Norway.
No.
Norway in pot 3 with Erling Haaland breathing down your neck? Nope. Thank you, no. I'm not interested.
Also,
just
remember that assuming they get through the playoff, Denmark's in pot 4. You could play an incredibly angry Denmark.
Yeah. So if you look at UEFA playoff, you're looking at Italy that Nick doesn't want to advance. You're looking at Northern Ireland and Wales. You're looking at Bosnia and Herzegovina that could be a pain. Ukraine can come up and bite you. You've got Sweden and Poland and Albania. Then Turkey, Romania, then Slovakia and Kosovo. Slovakia and Kosovo playing each other in the playoff, in playoff C to get to the game, to get them into the tournament. I'm guessing the folks in Lausanne. Yeah, literally. Yeah, there's no political intrigue with that one. Slovakia and Kosovo. No. One country doesn't recognize the other's independence.
Somebody give me a newspaper how that game ends up.
Exactly. It is 10:42, so that means that Jarrett, please hang in with us because we're going to break down CONMEBOL with our buddy Nino Torres, who comes in fully loaded from our time at GOLTV in Lima. How are you, my brother?
Hey, how you doing, Johnny? Ready to roll, man, on this massive day for the sport in the world, man.
Yep, Jarrett's here with us too, and we'll break down CONMEBOL as we go to the top of the hour. Then Maddie and Jason will take over coverage, getting ready for the draw. Do you want to start? Because I said I have the 64 teams that are left. I have them all right here. Do you want to start at the top of the rankings when it comes to CONMEBOL, or do you want to start with the teams at the bottom and that could work their way in? Where do you want to go?
Let's start for the top, brother. Always start for the top.
All right, so Argentina. So Argentina is on the table. Nino, what say you?
There's a lot of the rumors has it already, right? The draw hasn't even started, and there's people complaining about Argentina getting Group H, right? Because that's the logistically from the logistically point of view, the most accessible group for Argentina. But I don't know. It could be the way you don't know, because they're talking about that. Oh, the AFA has offices in Miami. Messi plays in Miami. They're gonna be in Miami, and of course you want to see them too, because it's gonna be Miami, Atlanta, and Guadalajara. So I'm pretty sure that you guys won Argentina in Group H.
That's true. Absolutely true. Jarrett, question for Nino Torres out of the blocks.
I'm actually going to ask this not even just about the World Cup. But we'll go to one of the other big countries with Brazil. What's the anticipation look like for them? But then on top of that, you had one of the most recognizable faces in Neymar, who went back to Brazil, is banged up and trying to drag his team out of a relegation zone on the eve of the World Cup.
There's a big issue with Neymar. This is a Nino Damas prediction. Hopefully,
Okay.
I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm wrong. And I don't see Neymar playing the next World Cup. I
Wow.
don't see Neymar playing the World Cup. It's just a matter of days, a matter of the next game. You know, his knee is always is screwed up, completely screwed up. I don't know the guy's got how's he been playing, man. He's playing just for his heart for Santos, but it's gonna take a toll on him. Like he's gonna get to the point that he's gonna need need surgery. Surgery is gonna be mandatory for him. And once he goes into surgery, good luck trying to go ready for the World Cup. This is 6 months. I don't know. When it comes to the knees, you get at least 4 or 5 months to recover. And at 32, he's not the young Neymar anymore, and I don't think he's going to play. And I'm telling you that. That's my Nino Damas prediction for Brazil. And if he doesn't play, it's get even worse. Probably we're going to see. This is another Nino Damas prediction. Probably we're going to see one of the worst participations of Brazil in the history of the World Cup.
Wow.
That's what I'm seeing coming.
Wow. Okay. So no Neymar. Nino Damas goes no Neymar, no party, basically.
Yeah. Because who's the leader now? When it comes to Brazil, tell me who's the leader of this team? You're gonna say Bini? No, he's busy, doing other things that are not related to soccer. Rodrigo, you're gonna call Hendrick? Who of the young stars? There's no leadership in Brazil. There's no leadership in Brazil. All the leaders are now coaches, all right? And all the leaders are now coaches. And Casemiro, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any good feelings on Brazil coming from the next World Cup. Man.
Wow. Okay. So then we go to Colombia, and Colombia ranked 13th, Copa America finalist, third in qualifying, 6-game winless run. So it was referred to like this. So the 2025 Copa America finalists finished third in the South American qualifying, largely because of a 6-game winless run / existential crisis, but they set themselves right toward the end. We'll go to the tournament with high hopes. James was going to lead them into probably his last World Cup. There's talk about James back to Liga MX. There's talk to James and Houston Dynamo now. We have to keep an eye on that. But your man is surely Luis Diaz, who is in form at Bayern Munich. Colombia, Nino. What does Nino Damas think about Colombia?
I think the worst part is over for them. There was a lot of drama. It was a lot of conflicts inside that locker room, and there was a lot of pressure. Right, there was a lot of pressure on Toto Lorenzo, and once they finally got the job done, once they finally booked their ticket to the World Cup, things started to change for Colombia. And I'm telling you this farewell party for James Rodriguez, it could be one of the ages. It could be one of the ages. I totally see Colombia reaching the heights of Brazil 2014, reaching the quarterfinals one more time. Watch out for Colombia. Watch out for Colombia. They got power. They got Diaz. They got James. They got defense. They got a more than a decent coach. Who, by the way, that Lorenzo was the assistant coach for Peckerman the last 2 World Cups that Colombia won, 2014 and 2018. Now he's the man in charge, and he's putting the blueprints of Toto Lorenzo in Colombia. And I totally see Colombia going far in this competition.
All right. Jarrett Smith for Nino Torres as we roll through CONMEBOL. What's next on your mind?
We're going to go north up to Ecuador. We were just talking about Sebastian Becasese and his status as manager. I know a faction of the Ecuadorian fan base not thrilled with the way things have been going after qualification. How are you feeling about Ecuador going into this?
He's already looking skyward. He's like,
My God, why in Ecuador? This is the problem with Ecuador, right? This is the big problem with Ecuador. They got the Independiente del Valle virus going in, and they think that they are the best the best team in the country and the best team now in terms of national teams, the best team in CONMEBOL. They're not. They're not. And the big problem, there's a big problem as far as all the drama they're putting against the coach, because in Ecuador there's a lot of chauvinism going on. Well, why we don't have an Ecuadorian head coach? Why we don't have to? Because your Ecuadorian head coaches are not good enough. That's the truth of the matter here. That's why you get an Argentine coach leading the way. But putting that on the side, the big issue with Ecuador is they don't have a striker.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a striker, and without a striker, I mean, Eder Valencia is now 39 and a half years old,
Something like that.
And,
Sure.
it's just crazy. You cannot rely on a striker all as old as Eder Valencia, and there's no other striker, and unless they're all magical midfielders start to score goals, and Joao Plata puts the team on his shoulders. Ecuador is going to be another group stage for Ecuador. This is the only one time, and I don't see Ecuador advancing from the group stage. I don't.
Okay, so then I'll take Uruguay. So Biel. I hadn't even get started. I just go Uruguay. He goes, oof.
No, he needed to take a drink before you. He needs to get ready for this.
Yes, proper hydration.
Let me put it like this, man. Bielsa agreed to go to the draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 2 days before the booking the trip, I'm like, I'm not going. What do you mean you're not going? You already said that you were going. No, I'm not going. You guys go ahead. And so instead of taking Marcelo Bielsa, Nacho Alonso, who is the president of the Uruguayan Soccer Federation, all right, let's bring the marketing manager. What does the marketing manager has to do with the draw? And I don't know, man. They took the marketing manager instead of taking Marcelo Bielsa. Not because they chose to. It's because Marcelo denied it. And there's a lot of drama in Uruguay. It's insane.
No.
It's insane. And Bielsa said, you know what? When you get into a relationship with me, I'm a toxic guy. Right? I'm a toxic guy. Yeah, you can't let me go. I won't let you go. And we're going to suffer, but we're going to get things done. I don't know how. This is the thing with Uruguay. We'll see if Marcelo Bielsa is the coach by the World Cup. We'll see about it. All right. It's going to be crucial in the next couple of months in the in Uruguay because the coaches are popping up. Diego Aguirre, is Peirano popping up. There's a lot of names, and there's a lot of names that are they got good relationships with the soccer council in Uruguay, because in Uruguay there's a soccer council. You got the AUF, which is Uruguayan Soccer Association, and then you got soccer council that takes the decisions for them. And so there's always a conflict between the two. And right now both parties are agreeing on looking for another name, even though Bielsa has a contract. But I don't know what's going to happen with Uruguay, to be honest. But if they bring another coach, I think it'll be a bit of fresh air for Uruguay to calm things down, and maybe getting back the good relationships with the players that are away from the team now. Because if Bielsa is still there, I'm not playing. There's way too much drama, man. Depending on who's the coach in the next, we'll see about that the next international FIFA break. We'll talk about Uruguay in the next FIFA break in March. Who is the coach?
This is a dude who, when he was coaching, and I don't remember what team it was for one. It was in a domestic competition. It wasn't when he was a national coach. The fans were so mad at him that they go to his house. He answers the door holding a grenade. You want to talk? And it's like, you want to talk about? Bielsa admits he's toxic, but this is the guy who the ultras go to his house to try to yell at him about the form that they're in, and answers the door with a grenade.
Don't
This
mess
is
with me,
the-
brother. Don't mess with me.
This is the guy that you're dealing with here. Sits on a bucket, does PowerPoint presentations for 2.5 hours. They're amazing. He doesn't care. This is the reason why I don't need to cheat. Everybody's thinking, and this is the second time this has happened recently. So when he was at Leeds, literally it was like you're going, oh my God, here's the deal. I'm just gonna have, the whole cheating scandal. The cheating scandal at Leeds. They arrest the guy in the bushes, that kind of a thing. And he goes, and everybody's thinking that Bielsa, he's announced a press conference out of the blue. So what happens out of the blue? He announces this press conference. Everybody's thinking he's going to quit. Instead, he does the 2.5-hour PowerPoint presentation about why he doesn't need to cheat. Same thing happened this time around. He gets blown out 5-1 by the United States. He announces a press conference. Everybody's sitting there going, oh, he's going to resign. No. And then he goes on another, was it a 90-minute rant about
he
him
got
being
beat 5-1 by one of his mentees.
Yeah, he gets beaten 5-1 by a mentee, and it's like, oh, he's going to resign after the hug day. And then he once again just takes a flamethrower to everybody and everything. That's what you've got with Bielsa and Uruguay.
And this is insane. And how do you come up with that presentation when you, in the last 18 matches, you only won 5 and you didn't score a single goal in 10 of the last 18 matches? What could you possibly say? It's like players being delusional on the pitch when they talk to somebody and it's like, no, I didn't do it. Why are you booking me? It's the same situation with Bielsa, this delusional guy. It's a genius, right? I got to tell you that. I got to give you that. He's a genius, but genius sometimes are misunderstood by
and there's a reason that he's El Loco. There's the reason.
It's loco.
I mean, that's crazy. Jarrett, next up for you, what's on your mind with CONMEBOL and Nino as he properly hydrates on a draw day?
I mean, maybe something a little more optimistic or a little more fun for us personally. But Bolivia's in a playoff. Like, that's fun. We were just talking about people who don't see Bolivia a lot just think about La Paz and think about pulling home results, going on the road losing. But no, because of Venezuela's failures and Bolivia fighting through, Bolivia has a shot to go to a World Cup, and it's a really cool moment.
Absolutely, and I'm telling you, the location that we're going to play these playoffs. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about that. And people doesn't get any credit to Bolivia, but I think they got a shot. Shot, and that'll be fantastic for us. Putting 7 teams in the World Cup. Suck it up, UEFA. CONMEBOL's the powerhouse in the World Cup.
Suck it up, UEFA.
Tell Gattuso not to worry about it. Tell him to worry about getting Italy through his qualifier before he complains about.
Right. Stop crying. Stop being a whiny bleep bleep.
Well, I mean, you could have said bleep bleep bleep. That's perfectly fine. It's a morning show. You can say whatever you need.
Hey, tell Italy they wouldn't last a minute if we made them go through their international break where they had to go play at La Paz or go play at Monumental.
Go to Barranquilla at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, 400 degrees. You're not going to survive. You won't survive one game if you CONMEBOL. No.
Commonly referred to as not happening, as the kids say. Paraguay, ranked 39th. Been a long time since Paraguay beat Japan to reach the quarters in 2010, where they lose to eventual winner Spain. Haven't seen them in a World Cup since. They've only given up 10 goals in 18 qualifiers. In the CONMEBOL Thunderdome, they only give up 10 goals in those 18 matches, but they only scored 14, which is probably the other issue. So Paraguay not giving up goals, not scoring goals. What do you think?
It's their style. It's always been. They're not famous for blowing out people, but good luck trying to beat them. Good luck trying to beat Paraguay. You got when you think about World Cup, you think the images of Chilabert in 1998. Fighting with everybody. Losing in the last second to friends. It was just like, that's the spirit. That's the Uruguayans. I mean, Paraguayans are warriors. They're the warriors. That's what they are. And now, on this particular group, with this particular coach, I think they found Gustavo Faro the perfect fit, man, the perfect fit for Paraguay. And he made this team stronger together, right? He unite this team, and now this is another dark horse in the competition. I see. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying that they say, I want to say quarterfinals too. I want to say quarterfinals for Paraguay. Watch out for Paraguay. Watch out for Paraguay. They got young power. They got one of the best defenses in CONMEBOL. And you got a great coach. The weapons, they have weapons, and the team is the completely opposite of their neighbors Uruguay. The completely opposite. There's zero drama in Paraguay, and when you get into the World Cup, you need to be focused. And this team is absolutely focused, and they're gonna be ready to fight. I don't know. I want to see the draw. Whose group they're in, but they usually know, and they're not in the most critical group. So we'll see what happens with them. But I have faith. I really have faith in Paraguay. I do.
Okay. Jarrett, what else is on your mind?
No, I was going to build on what we talked about. There's something we talk about with the domestic cups. The same thing with Paraguay. Is that most important number you can put up is that big 0 under your opponent's name. You get into a 90-minute, winner take all 90-minute match. Most important thing you can do is keep a big 0 on their name, and it gives anyone a chance against anyone else in the world. And I hate playing against those teams, and I am sure that other countries will feel that way too.
And it's critical, especially in the World Cup, when there's no the margin for error is so thin. You got only 7 games to play. It's only 1 month, and you screw up big time, and you probably be out the next day.
All right, let's recap. Waiting for the handoff with Maddie and Jason over at the Brewhouse. They'll pick up things before they get into the draw itself. Okay, so Argentina, what do you think is going to happen?
They're going to roll. They're just going to roll. It's like they're feeling like they're playing at home. Messi's going to be the ambassador in Miami, and people forget about this, right? People forget about this, that they still have mission. That the Messi has one last mission to accomplish with Argentina, and it's to win back-to-back World Cups, because nobody has done that since 58 and 62 with Brazil. Nobody has done that, and they have a number on Brazil. They hate Brazilians. They hate them because of that, and this is the last chance, and they're gonna go after whatever it takes. They're gonna do whatever it takes to go all the way. I'm seeing Argentina going all the way to the finals, and whatever happens in the finals, but I'm seeing Argentina going all the way.
Jared.
I invite everyone to pull up the Argentine papers if Argentina rolls through the group and Brazil gets grouped. I invite you all to go look up the papers in Argentina. Frankly, all the other countries in South America. Go look up all the newspapers and go see what the headlines say if that happens.
Man. All right, so Nino, Brazil themselves, are they going to get grouped?
They're gonna escape the group stage. They will escape the group stage, but they won't go further than that. No quarterfinals. No, they're gonna go into the second stage of the competition, and that's it.
Let me ask you this, because every World Cup we end up with some player who people don't know enough about, that becomes a household name. Like Amrabat was a really popular one at the last World Cup, playing at the 6. Who from CONMEBOL that people might not know as a household name, will they know their name by the end of this World Cup?
Well, Richard Rios, really, who doesn't know? If they go through,
the sickos among us who watch South American games will know them, but the rest of the world will learn.
Yes.
if they advance, hopefully if they qualify, I'm looking at this kid from Bolivia, Villamil.
Okay.
Villamil from Bolivia, the midfielder plays in Liga Quito. If they go to the World Cup, they're gonna know about this kid. They're gonna know about this kid, Villamil from Bolivia.
All right. So Brazil, you're not too up on you. Colombia quarterfinals. You're going to stick with that?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Same as Paraguay.
Okay. Uruguay. Going to get grouped in your mind.
Yeah. Because on top of all the drama, they're gonna get some group like in 2014, with probably England and I was gonna say Italy, not Italy, but
Well,
they're gonna get
I
a tough
mean,
group.
yeah.
They're gonna get a tough group, and that's for sure. That's what usually happens with Europe. They got really the toughest groups when it comes to draw in CONMEBOL. They're the unlucky ones when it comes to the draws in World Cups. I don't think it's gonna be different this time, and they won't survive. They won't survive the group stage. No.
Okay, Jarrett, Uruguay.
If they get a super favorable group, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. That's depending on the draw a lot.
Yeah, like my confidence isn't my confidence isn't super high.
You could kind of sit there and you can kind of feel that Jarrett's kind of like,
right?
John, Diego Forlan is not walking through that door. I don't know if you know this.
Well, he might be, but it'll be with a limp and a very slow pace. He just kind of like, I heard you called. He just kind of burst through the door. It's like, nah, fam, we're good. It's okay. We appreciate it. Even though you might need him. You might need him on the bench just to kind of crack some skulls or something.
Yeah. I don't know. Does he have a good knee that he can loan to Luis Suarez?
Maybe, right?
I mean,
where's the MLS final, Johnny? When were they playing the finals? The MLS?
That is tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. Tomorrow at the Erector Set in Fort Lauderdale. Super sub El Pistolero. That's what it's looking like. I mean, when you got Silvetti and Allende and Messi playing a little deeper, El Pistolero on the bench, Rodrigo De Paul, Alba, Busquets, the Gulfstream Galacticos. We haven't even talked about that this morning. I mean, we haven't even gotten into MLS Cup yet, but because we've been all World Cup draw. I mean, but I talked to a lot of folks yesterday. They were high on Vancouver because of Thomas Muller. Yeah.
There's a revenge in there in Leo Messi. See, to Mueller, I'm gonna win you this one, brother. I want to win you this one. You beat me at 2014. I'm gonna beat you in this one. He got his number. I'm telling you.
All right.
Talk nearly enough about how ruthless Lionel Messi is as a human being. This man has Michael Jordan level. This man has been hating for way longer than you think he has. You think he hasn't been stewing on that game specifically?
Yeah. Heck yeah. He got your numbers, bro. He got his list. I'm pretty sure he has his list. Nobody knows about it, but we're gonna talk about later after the list of Leo Messi, the same way that MJ did. You're on my list, but you are on my list. Thomas Muller is on his list. I guarantee that.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris Jericho. So Ecuador, you have them getting grouped, Nino, because they don't have a striker, and Enner Valencia is 712 years old.
Yep. That's probably my strong statement on CONMEBOL, that one.
Okay.
Now
Jared, Ecuador.
Finals and Nino, you're just a bust, man.
Ecuador, Jared.
I'm skeptical. I want to believe because a number of my best friends are from Ecuador. So I want to believe for them because I want them to be happy and they are excited. However, I have the same concerns that Enner Valencia is actually not getting younger, and I don't know. He's going to get like a goal at the World Cup. Oh, he can still do it. No, he can't. Not consistently.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Man.
It's fun to dream.
Yes, it's fun to dream. Paraguay, Nino, you've got quarterfinals.
Yes. I like him a lot. I like him a lot.
Okay. All right. Jarrett, Paraguay.
Quarterfinals sounds on par for what I would expect. Just if for no other reason, the defensive side of things. Like you can just be a giant pain in the ass for teams to play. You can go far.
Mm-hmm.
You start, especially you go up against a team that feels like they're better than you, and you keep them blanked. It gets late in that game. Somebody's going to break mentally, and it's not going to be you. All it takes is one mistake.
Yep. One mistake, traditionally. And then Bolivia, do they get out of the FIFA playoff, Nino? They got to play Suriname first.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do Bolivia. Come on.
So they beat Suriname, and then they beat Iraq in FIFA playoff 2. Okay. All right. I see you working. Jarrett, does Bolivia get out of FIFA playoff 2?
Yes, in the name of Atlanta United legend Fred Morales. Yes.
Okay. There you go. All right. So we're about to hand off to Maddie and Jason over at the Brewhouse. Nino, what are your weekend plans?
Actually, later on today, we got the big game in Portugal. It's the Lisbon Derby. It is Sporting Club versus Benfica, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. 3 p.m. Eastern Time, people. So we're gonna get ready on that one. Then we got Porto. We got Braga games. We got the big four games in Portugal this weekend.
And as always, my friend, it's great to catch up with you. Glad we could chew it up on CONMEBOL. We will catch up with you next week. We love you very much, and we'll see you when we're on the flip side. We can start talking about draws and games and where they're going to be and all that stuff. We'll catch up with you next week, my friend. Great to see you.
See you guys. Take care.
There goes Nino Torres, fully loaded as always, and it's great to catch up with him because we get to do that from Lima, Peru. Now we get to hand it off to Maddie and Jason over at the Brewhouse. We'll bring them up, and they're ready to go, and they're going to carry the coverage from here, and we welcome them in. What is up with the two of you? How's it been so far this morning?
It's starting to fill in over here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a couple of faces in. I think everyone's getting excited for the draw. It's going to be fun.
Well, it's been fun here this morning at Bench Warmers in Decatur. You can hear the music; they're getting fired up, and we can't thank them enough for opening the doors for us and letting us get in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and actually see if I can get cables wired in the proper place.
John, you and technology, we made the mistake of letting you be alone over there setting up all the technology.
It worked, though. The show happened.
It did. I'm shocked it did.
I turned it up, and I was kind of surprised that it was actually happening. So good job, John.
You did good, John. You did good.
I was surprised as well. So, Jarrett, last words before we send it over to the Brewhouse.
I will say the same thing I said before. Misery's a choice. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Have fun with this. Enjoy this. It's such a big moment for everyone on this entire tectonic plate that is North America. Please have fun with this. If you want to be stressed out about the draw, do that afterwards. But for now, if you're scared, get a dog. Have fun.
Amen. That's the early word from Bench Warmers here in Decatur. Let's send it over to the top soccer bar in the country with the top dynamic duo of the SDH network. Maddie and Jason, middays all yours leading up to the draw, and then post-draw is yours as well. We'll be watching. We'll be commenting. It's all yours. Take it away.
Dynamic duo was wild. We got a lot of shoes to fill with that one. Okay. Letting us hang out. No, welcome back in. We're here at the Brewhouse getting ready for the FIFA World Cup draw here today. It's a rainy morning, which was nice coming in. But hey, I don't think it's going to stop anybody else. I mean, you're looking at the scenes over on Fox 5, especially in the back, getting ready for the draw. You're looking at the scenes here, people finally flooding in, getting ready to go. Exciting to figure out who's going to be here in Atlanta and also figure out where everything's going to shape out, especially as we get closer to the draw.
Yeah, this is such a unique kind of day because there's not really an easy comparison for it. You know, like the NCAA basketball tournament, you get a bracket filled out. You get that once a year. You don't have the village people performing at an NCAA basketball tournament selection show. Maybe that's a good thing. Take that however you want. You get into this kind of situation where your soccer lives for 4 years culminate in this, which creates 3 games that can decide what happens for soccer in your country for the next 4 years. You could get drawn a very difficult group, not get out of the group, 4 years of work gone.
Yeah.
You could get a very easy draw today, and you look at it and you're like, cool, we're a contender to go all the way in this thing. It's a day where generally there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of optimism. There will be a group of death somewhere along the way.
There will be.
That's gonna happen. Hopefully it's not for the U.S. Hopefully it's not for a country that you support.
Let's hope.
There's going to be a really easy group somewhere along the way as well. And with a 48-team tournament, we've got so many different things that we have not experienced yet in a World Cup.
Well, I mean, on top of that, too, with it being a 48-team thing, it's a round of 32 after it comes out of that as well. That adds another component, too, where you have the top 2 teams from each group who are going to move on to that next round, but then you also have the third-place teams of a couple of those groups, too, who will move on to that round. So it almost creates an environment where it's almost the end, but not really for a lot of these teams, especially in fighting for that third-place slot and trying to move on to the round of 32 as well.
Yeah, it's very forgiving. I think when you look at it, 8 third-place teams will advance out of 12. So even if you're in that group of death, if you win one game out of your 3, you have a very good chance to get out of your group. That gives you hope. I think what it creates in terms of how this World Cup will feel next summer is you will have more teams on the last day in the group that will have a lifeline. And you won't know even when your group's done until the last day if you get in as a third place. You might be on that wire, then you're watching and hoping for other games to go your way. It's going to be so special with this. And what I love out of it with being 48 teams, one, you're getting some of these really cool stories of countries who have not had the chance to be here before that are going to be. And look, we might see them here in Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a few that I think really stick out. Uzbekistan's one. Obviously, they qualified a little bit ago. They've been qualified for a while. I mean, you've got Curacao, you have a Copa Verde, you have the Ivory Coast. You have so many different smaller countries coming in and making an impact and coming in and making a stance too, making it into the World Cup for the first time for a lot of them, but also too just, getting on the global stage, one of the biggest stages as well. It's really fun. It's exciting, and I think it makes me excited too, especially because Atlanta's already such a melting pot in who all is here, and now you get an opportunity to welcome some new faces and some new people as well to Atlanta, especially if their country's coming here and they get to play at the Benz, which, I mean, I would say it's not that bad of a place to play.
It's not too shabby. It's one of the best stadiums, period, in the world, and I think when you start to look at this draw, take your fandom to the side for a second. If you're here in Atlanta and you're looking at what you want out of the draw, Group H, that's the one to watch for because there's 2 group games that are going to come out of that group to Atlanta. I think there's a very good possibility that the team from Pot 1 that goes into Group H will play 2 games in Atlanta. And that's going to be one of the favorites. Spain, Argentina, France, England, Brazil, maybe a Portugal, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany. Whoever the top seed is out of Group H, I think they will be based in Atlanta for 2 games. So who do you want to be that team out of Group H that is based in Atlanta for multiple games in the group stage?
Well, I don't know if that's a question for me. I was going to pose that question to you as well, but I guess it's for both of us, so we can both decide that as well.
First.
All right, I'll go first. I think for Pot 1, who I would love to see, and I think just from looking at everything, oof.
Now remember, the hosts can't get
there.
They
can't get there. They're already locked in. Yes, they're already locked in.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I would love to see Spain. Spain would be one that I would love to see, I think, here.
Spain's the number 1 team in the world.
Yeah,
in the
I
FIFA
think
rankings.
Spain, right? I think Spain would be really cool. And then also I do think maybe get England or Brazil. England or Brazil, I think, would be really cool.
Either one would be huge. We saw Argentina here in the Copa America. You know that their fans are going to travel. You know that'll be a spectacle. Germany, I think, will have a huge traveling contingent, and they got into Pot 1 barely at the very end of qualifying, jumping Croatia to get into that spot. That helps them in the draw. That could potentially bring somebody here. I mean, we talked about it a lot in the last round of World Cup qualifiers as to who are your favorites in this tournament. I think with 48 teams, there are a lot of teams with hope and a lot of teams with opportunity, but there's only been 8 countries that have won the World Cup ever. I think there's 5 who have a legit shot to win this time around. And one of them, I'll even put it like half of a spot. Brazil, I think, is super talented, but they did not have a good qualifying
No,
run.
They
They
it
have
was
a
bad.
new manager in Carlo Ancelotti, who's an amazing manager who has never worked in Brazil before. He's got a relationship with some of their key players, which is key. But Brazil, because of the talent, you have to put in this category. England has to be in this category with their talent, with a player, in my opinion, like Cole Palmer, who can go and win you a game. When you need it, when everything evens out, when it's very equal, Cole Palmer can go and win a match for you. Spain has multiple match winners, one of them being Lamine Yamal, who is maybe
Insane.
gonna be the guy by the end of this World Cup.
Insane.
Argentina's got Messi. France has got a bunch of guys in Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, maybe Desiree Doué at that stage becomes one of these players.
Wild.
Those are your 5 favorites. They're the top 5 teams in the world. I think the FIFA rankings actually are done right here. Spain, Argentina, France, England, Brazil. One of them is going to win the World Cup.
I think I really like France's chances too. Obviously, this
Yeah.
is not my PSG talking as well. My favoritism with them as well there, but I think because of the star power they have. But I mean, you do have Cole Palmer. You have someone who can come in and just completely change the game, and then Lamine Yamal is becoming arguably one of the best players that we've seen right now, and just continuing to push and continuing to get better, and especially at the biggest stage now, you're going to rely on those players. But let's transition over to, I think, especially looking at the U.S. and where they're going to be positioned.
Yep.
Obviously, host country. We already know where they are going to be.
Group D, we know that's coming.
Yeah, we already know where that's going to be and everything set up there. For the USA, who do you want to see in that group? And, how do you think that's all going to shape out?
Let's start the other way. Who do you not want to see if you're the U.S.? I think the absolute evil group of death that the U.S. could draw would be Morocco, would be Norway, and would be a UEFA play-in team, the pathway that could get you a Denmark or an Italy. That's the toughest group you can possibly get, in my opinion. Croatia's higher ranked than Morocco. I think Morocco's a better team straight out. But by getting Morocco, that means you can get 2 European teams out of pot 3 and pot 4. And that makes it more difficult. You can only get a max of 2 European teams in any group. You have to have one in every group. If the U.S. gets Croatia, which isn't easy, and then they get Norway, they would get a comfortable pot 4 team. They would get one of New Zealand, they would get Ghana, they would get Cabo Verde, or they would get Jordan. Okay, then you have one team that you feel pretty good with. If it's Morocco, Norway, and a Denmark or an Italy or a Poland with Bartosz Slisz, that's not a group you want anything to do with, because that's a group that could send you home out of the group stage. If you're the U.S. and teams you want to see, I'll take either of the bottom 2 teams out of pot 2, Austria or Australia. I think the U.S. is – Austria will test you in a different way. I think the U.S. is more technical and can handle their pressure. Australia, I think the U.S. can outrun them and outwork them physically. Pot 3, you look at the back end of that pot. You mentioned Uzbekistan earlier. They've never been here before.
Yep.
They're going to be super defensive with Fabio Cannavaro as their manager. Qatar, we've seen Qatar over the years. The U.S. should beat Qatar. The U.S. should beat Saudi Arabia, although we saw them beat Argentina in the last World Cup. I think you can handle that. And South Africa is another team that hasn't been here in a long time. Pot 4, we mentioned the ones you can't get Curacao, you can't get Haiti if you're the U.S. The other 4 teams that are already there, you're comfortable with any of those. I think you start to look at some of the pitfalls you could get or some of the opportunities. The U.S. just beat Paraguay and Uruguay. If you get either one of them, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're cool with that. You just beat Japan. It wasn't Japan their top team, but I think you can handle that even if you don't want to. Korea beat you. Don't want to have to deal with them. You've got some really interesting games for the U.S. with teams that you have recent history with that you could get, and you'll go in feeling confident. Or you get the Morocco, Norway, Denmark, or Italy, or Poland slog that is possible in a couple hours.
And then you also obviously have those friendly matches that will be played in March at the Bends too, to kind of help, especially too. You'll get to play Belgium, you get to play Portugal. Those are 2 teams in pot 1. That'll give you a little bit of time, especially as those teams are trying to round out. You'll know who's going to be involved, especially when it comes to the camps and everything for the World Cup. That helps. That'll kind of give you a good idea, especially testing that moment. But on the U.S., talking about the U.S. before we get a little bit more into a lot of these other countries, because that's definitely what I want to hit on before. But we'll talk about the U.S. real fast now.
Yep.
USA, we saw in those friendlies, we saw a lot of that talent, a lot of it, that young talent from MLS. A lot of players, too, that haven't been playing, though. Sergio Dest, Sergio Dest finally coming back into the fold, getting back healthy again. What did you see from those matches? And also, when you look ahead, when you start looking at who could possibly be on this roster, who could be in that group, who are you liking, and who do you think should be making a statement for themselves? I can tell you one for me. I think Sebastian Berhalter definitely has made a case for himself to be at least in the running, and maybe not a starter, but definitely coming in and being someone who can be an impact off the bench, because we've seen him do it how many times with Vancouver, with the U.S. men's national team. I think he's someone that, if I'm Mauricio Pochettino, I'm looking at him.
I think when you look at another player out of MLS who has really raised his level and raised his game is Alex Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that Mauricio Pochettino has shifted the U.S. to play with 3 center backs opens the door for a player like Freeman to be that third center back, where he's technically a fullback. He can play as a right back in a line of 4, but you put him as a right center back in a 3, he can pop forward and be dangerous getting forward. He can sit, he can drop, he can defend, he can deal with crosses. He can do all the things you need from a center back. Alex Freeman, Sebastian Berhalter, Max Arfston, these are guys who have raised their level in MLS and are in a good spot to potentially turn some heads. But you get those games in March with Portugal, with Belgium, pot 1 teams, top teams in the world. You're going to get them at the Benz. It is an absolute great precursor for all of us here in Atlanta to get that experience. You're going to learn a lot about those guys we just talked about, how they handle themselves against the best of the best. And that's going to be the test that these games give you. But talking about the U.S. in general and where this team is right now, if you haven't been paying attention closely and you're just checking in at times on Twitter, don't ever look at hashtag USMNT, first off, because it's a toxic place and it'll give you nightmares. This team is in a really good spot at the moment. They have been unbeaten in 5 against teams that are going to the World Cup. They have beaten 4 of those 5. They have beaten teams like Uruguay, like Paraguay, like Japan. This is a team that's playing really well. And a quote that didn't make enough headway in the U.S., in my opinion, is from Paraguay's manager, Gustavo Alfaro. After the U.S. beat them, in his post-game press conference, he said, if you don't match the U.S.'s intensity, you don't play at the same level of intensity, you cannot cope with this team right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a credit to Mauricio Pochettino and what he has this team doing. They are outworking, outpressing, driving teams crazy. They are making it difficult for you to play your game. And that gives you hope if you're playing a Belgium, if you're playing a Portugal, if you're playing a team in a knockout game that, hey, we have talent. We have a guy in Christian Pulisic who can go win a game for us. We have other guys who are stepping up into those roles. But say it's difficult for them, we can go and outwork teams and make them suffer on the field.
I think when you talk about the conversation as well, there's been such a time where when you look at the U.S. men's national team, there's always been a discussion of we don't have a lot of depth. We don't have any depth. Now you have depth.
You got a lot of
and
depth.
It's about especially the conversations of, well, we don't want all MLS players. We don't want this. We have depth now. We have the ability, and MLS is slowly reaching up, becoming one of the top teams here in the world. Top leagues. I mean, Son Heung-min, Lionel Messi, Thomas Mueller are coming to Major League Soccer to play, to continue playing, and to keep pursuing this. And I think now you have that depth. You have the depth in Alex Freeman. You have the depth in Diego Luna. You have the depth in Sebastian Berhalter. It now makes the conversation tougher as to who you're going to bring and who's going to bring the intensity, who's going to bring that fight. Because I think that's the one thing, too, when you look at the U.S., I think you have to cater to what the U.S. does well. And it is that intensity. It is that athleticism. It is bringing that fold and just being relentless when you're out there on the pitch. It's something that even talking to some of these international players that come from all over the world to play collegiately here in the U.S. A really good piece on SDH. This is my shameless plug. You should go check it out. It's on SDH. But talk to a whole bunch of collegiate athletes from all over the state talking about how it is so different, how a lot of those places, it's very technical, but you come here, it's more physical.
Yeah.
You have to do a little bit more in the weight room. You have to go in and you have to make sure that you're physically ready to play the game. That's the style that the U.S. needs to capitalize on. And I think the intensity, too. You have the intensity, you have the athleticism, but you also have the technicality to back it up, too.
Yeah, that's the thing about this U.S. team right now. And let's go ahead and flash forward, if I can speak. Flash forward to next summer. You've got World Cup games that are going to be played in very hot conditions. You're going to have teams that come over here and wilt under the heat. We saw it in 1994. It's only going to be hotter next summer. You're going to get opportunities where late in games, you are going to have the legs, you're going to have the desire, you're going to have the crowd behind you, you're going to have the energy to go change a game. And I think what we've seen from this team over the last few months, let's go back to the summer where you and I were here. We did an Atlanta Soccer Tonight after the U.S. had a bad loss getting ready for the Gold Cup. 2 bad losses going into that Gold Cup. Mauricio Pochettino's talked about it. That tournament made this team believe, hey, we can play, we can win. With this group, we can do things. And then we saw it in September, October, November. They've built on it. They found a style of play that suits them. And now you go into a World Cup, I think this team has to be confident. If you're Cristiano Ronaldo and you are 40 years old and you're on the field in the 90th minute and your legs are jelly, do you want to deal with Alex Freeman at that point? No, you don't want to deal with the son of an NFL wide receiving legend at that point
No,
who
you
can
don't.
just body you all day long. You don't want that life at that point. So I think you're going to see some strategic elements come in where if the U.S. can hang around and grind teams down with that pressure, with making them sweat, with making them work, you're going to get late in games where the U.S. will be able to find goals and find wins.
And that, for me, too, was a conversation. I mean, you look at that matchup against Paraguay where there's a little bit of that scuffle at the end. I mean, I love to see it. I love to see it. Obviously, you don't want any sort of thing like that, but you want the intensity. You want them.
You don't want it,
You
but
don't
you do
want it, but
it.
you do.
You
And like,
do.
because I feel like that's something that we've been missing.
Yeah.
And you finally got it. And everyone's talking about, oh, it's just a friendly. It's not just a friendly anymore. These guys are competing to try to be in this roster, to try to make a name, to be involved in the World Cup. And that's exactly what it did. And I mean, I guarantee you, if I'm Mauricio Pochettino, I'm sitting there being like, ooh, you know what? Alex Freeman, he's got it.
Yeah. He's got the ex-dog in him, you know? He's got that definite intangible that you can't quantify. And what did everybody want? What did everybody ask for in those games in the summer where the U.S. didn't play well? And we're asking for more passion, more grit, all of those things that we think back to 1990 and 94 and 2002 and what we're used to seeing with the U.S. It's those things. Now, look, you're in a different place. Is this team the most talented team in the world? No. And they would not tell you that. Do you have a world-class player? Yes, you do in Christian Pulisic. He is lighting it up in Serie A. He is scoring clutch goals in Serie A for Milan. He is a guy who can go win you World Cup games. You have other guys like a Gio Reyna if he can stay healthy. You have other guys who can give you things that are borderline world-class. But you've got a game changer in Pulisic. If you can match that with the grit, with the effort, with the athleticism, the things that I think Mauricio Pochettino put a chef's hat on, and he started to look at what this could be. And everybody was yelling at him about not knowing his starting lineup in the summer. There's 48 teams that don't know their starting lineup for the World Cup game opener right now. He didn't either. Now he's a lot closer to that.
Yep.
And I think because he put that chef's hat on and he said, hey, let's lean into what we do well. Let's get a third center back on. Let's be a little more secure. Let's be a little safer in those moments.
Yeah.
And let's get this done. It's working. And that's why you're 5 games unbeaten against teams that are coming here next summer.
Exactly. And as we kind of get closer to the end, as we are slowly approaching the hour of when the draw will officially begin at 12 p.m., let's talk about, I think, dark horses, I think, when it comes to the World Cup. Because there's a lot of teams in here. You already mentioned one that I do think would be a dark horse, especially who could maybe make it a little bit further than I think people expect. And for me, it's Morocco. I think Morocco could be someone that you might not think that they would make it all the way there. But I mean, you look at what they've done, especially at the youth level, what they just did in the Youth World Cup too.
Yeah.
But you also look at just how they've been playing too. I mean, they're top at pot 2 right now. I think that they would be the dark horse that you wouldn't expect to maybe make it out of the round 32 or the round of 32, the round of 16. But I think they could press some teams. They could get some teams thinking, oh, okay, maybe we gotta kick it into gear and not overlook this team.
I'll give you an even more of a dark horse here. Cabo Verde. And the reason why I'm mentioning them out of pot 4, when nobody expects them to get any points in the World Cup. this was one of the best defensive teams in African World Cup qualifying. They shut down Cameroon, who is usually here at the World Cup. They're not here now. They shut down a lot of top offensive talent. And when you're a team like Cabo Verde, when you're a team that's, a pot 3, pot 4 team, with the exception of Norway, who's a little special, you're going to have to defend.
Yeah.
And you don't have those game changers. I think, what do we always say, the cliche about, defense wins championships?
Defense wins championships.
I disagree. I think in these games, to win, defense can get you through. Defense can get you out of the group. Defense can shock some people. But to win it, you got to have a game changer on the offensive side.
Yeah.
They don't have that. Okay. Ride the defense as far as you can take it. And Cabo Verde is one that can do that. Uzbekistan specifically went out and hired Fabio Cannavaro, one of the best defenders of his generation, to come in and make that team, who was a pretty good offensive team in Asian World Cup qualifying. He wanted to make them better defensively because he knows he's going to have to.
Yeah.
Uzbekistan is not going to be able to out-talent anybody out of pot 1, anybody out of pot 2, and maybe anybody out of pot 4. So they're going to have to defend, soak up pressure. Set pieces are going to be big. That's going to be big for them. Paraguay is another one that's a good defensive team. We've seen it with Miguel Almiron. This is a very good defensive team that Gustavo Alfaro has gotten to this point. They're not the most talented, but they're going to be tough to break down. That's the key. Panama is another one who I think can be a surprise. But for me, the ultimate dark horse that could be, and when I say dark horse at this point, not to win the tournament, I think it's down to the 5 we talked about. The dark horse to get to a semifinal. Morocco did it last World Cup. They could do it again. Norway is that team here because Norway has the best striker in the world right now in Erling Haaland. They've got Martin Odegaard. They've got so much talent that we have not seen on the stage in a long, long time, since 1998. They can go and win those games in those moments that it's tight, it's late. Erling Haaland is that guy that can break you inside the 18 when you get to that point.
We won't know a couple of the other teams as well, as we'll have the play-in games. You'll have the UEFA play-in. You also have the other playoff matches too. Out of those teams that could potentially be here and especially fight their way through, I mean, you have to see what's going on in Italy right now. And they're trying to come back in. They're trying to do it too. But you got Atlanta connection-wise, you have Albania. That's an AME high. That could be a possibility too, having another player besides Paraguay with Miguel Almiron. But then also, too, you have Poland as well with Bartosz Slisz. They're also trying to fight and get into the World Cup now, and that's going to happen later on. It's going to happen beginning of next year. What do you make of those situations and what we could see out of those playoff matches?
Poland is one for sure that I think has the talent to get here. I think they can get through. But the story is Italy. I mean, Italy has missed the last 2 World Cups. This would be 3 in a row if they don't get here. They have not played a knockout game in a World Cup since the final in 2006. This is Italy. This is Italy who's won 3 of these things.
Oof.
They have not played a knockout game since 2006, and they might not get here. They're not necessarily favored to get to the World Cup. And let's tie it back together to what we talked about with the U.S. and people want to talk about young talent coming through MLS and either staying or then going overseas. Italy has not developed their young talent at all. They have done a horrible job in doing it. They hired Roberto Baggio, one of the legends of the game, to write a report about what they need to do. He gives them a 900-page document about playing more young players, promoting young players through the youth national teams, getting them minutes in Serie A. What happens to that report? It gets thrown in the trash, and Italy doesn't qualify for 2 straight World Cups. If Italy doesn't get here, I don't think we can have them in the powerhouse conversation anymore.
No, you can't.
Morocco, if they get to a quarterfinal or further, they're in that conversation now. That idea of who the best teams in the world are, I think we still put Italy there just out of history. They're not right now, and if they don't qualify in this tournament, they're not going to be for a long time.
To round things out, you obviously have the biggest storylines talking about the U.S. men's national team coming in here, home turf, everything. Yep. You have Miguel Almiron in Paraguay. Haven't had the chance to really touch on that before we close things out, too. Yep. There's a possibility that Paraguay, I mean, with the draw and how things shape out, we could see Paraguay here in Atlanta, and especially with Miguel, and especially playing where you play in front of 45,000, 75,000. I mean, that would be incredible getting the chance to do that. I think not only for Atlanta United fans here, obviously in Atlanta, but also for Miguel himself, getting the chance to play with his home country, with Paraguay, here where he now calls home as well in Atlanta.
And the boost that Paraguay would get out of that, because all the neutrals, all the hometown people who are going to have tickets and be in the stadium for that are going to be rooting for Paraguay in that game.
Yep.
So it doesn't happen often where you get a player who gets to lead his country into his home club stadium.
Yeah.
I think probably the most famous one is Diego Maradona and Napoli in 1990, where he tried to convince the fans of Naples to root against their country and root for him. Created some problems there, but that's Diego. That's what he did. Miguel's not going to do that, thankfully, because it's not going to be Paraguay against the U.S. more than likely in that game. But it would be such a special moment for soccer in Atlanta, for him personally, for his country. We're going to get those special moments, whether it's Paraguay or others. Maybe Bartosz Slisz becomes that guy. Maybe it's an Mikhai if they qualify and get here. But we're going to get 5 group stage games. We're going to get a round of 32. We're going to get a round of 16, and we're going to get a semifinal here in Atlanta. We're going to get 8 games next summer. Atlanta, we've talked about it a lot over the past couple of years, being the epicenter of soccer in this country, in this hemisphere. It's undeniable at this point. We have the biggest games coming outside of the final. We have NWSL coming in 2028. We have the Women's World Cup coming in 2031, and I will keep saying it. Atlanta's going to host the final of the 2031 Women's World Cup. I'm trying to manifest this. Right?
I think you should. And you also, too, I think even just from talking to these international players collegiately, all over. You have it at Oglethorpe. You have it at every single division, too. D1, you have it at Georgia State, Mercer. You have it at Kennesaw State. You have it at so many of those schools. D2, you have it at Clayton State. D3, Oglethorpe. Emory. And then at NAIA, you have Georgia Gwinnett. Yeah. You have so many different colleges here in Georgia where so many international players are making their home here, and they're continuing their journey, continuing to get better at this level. And from talking to them, especially this week, it's about, they know what soccer is like in Atlanta. They know that this is a place where they can continue to grow and they can continue their career and get better. And why not do it in a place where it's the hotbed of soccer right now? Why not do it in Atlanta, Georgia? And that's what they're thinking. That's why they're picking these areas. They're picking it because Atlanta is the epicenter of soccer right now in the U.S. And they're picking it because of how much they're able to continue to grow and continue their journeys and continuing to be better at every single level.
Soccer is the thing in Atlanta that connects all of us. Mm-hmm. Whether you came here from another country, and soccer is what helps you meet people and pick up and play in local leagues. If you're from Atlanta, soccer allows you to travel the world without leaving Atlanta. That was me. I grew up as a kid here in Atlanta, and I didn't get to travel when I was young. And soccer was what helped me learn about Argentina and other parts of the world. Soccer's that great unifier, and soccer historically has been one of those factors in helping Atlanta grow as a city. This summer coming up is going to transform the city of Atlanta in a way that even the Olympics could not do. We weren't quite ready for the Olympics in 1996. We caught up to it eventually. We got the Olympics done. It went pretty well. We're ready for this moment, this World Cup here in Atlanta. And just talking on 92.9 The Game earlier today, Sandra Golden lives out at Lake Oconee. They're seeing rentals for the month of the World Cup already, like more than the Masters would be. Like, you're getting so many people who are going to come to Atlanta and base here for a month and then go to other cities in the tournament and then come back to Atlanta. When that happens, the next effect is a lot of those people are going to be like, ooh, wow, I had a really good time. I like Atlanta a lot. I'm looking to relocate. Maybe I should go to Atlanta. And that's what happens to grow this city. Look at all the transformational things that are coming. There's going to be a second Brewhouse Cafe in South Downtown. That is transformational. What's happening there is transformational. What's happening with Centennial Yards, transformational. All of these kinds of things that are happening because the World Cup's coming. Atlanta United's going to have a massive season coming up with Tata Martino back. There's going to be so much excitement for all of this. I can't wait. It feels like 2026 is really starting today.
Ooh, it does.
It's December 5th,
Yeah.
but it feels like this is
Yeah.
January 1st, 2026.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it at this. Soccer's a universal language that I think we all speak in every sort of way. And I'm really excited to see how it just continues to grow here in Atlanta, here in the U.S. And hey, we get our first step today with the World Cup draw. So we'll close it out here on the morning show with me and Jason as well. But we'll say thank you to John Nelson, who's over there at Decatur, and all of the guests that he had on today, too, getting ready for the draw. But we're going to close it out here. We'll be back live here on SDH on all of our social medias from here at the Brewhouse right after the draw around 2:15, getting things wrapped up, recapping everything that we heard, what we saw, what the draw is going to look like. We'll be here recapping everything here at the Brewhouse Cafe, so make sure y'all tune in. But for myself and for Jason Longshore, we're going to say so long. And, hey, make sure you get your popcorn. Hey, grab a beer, grab the Around the Corner lager.
Grab it around the corner here at
Come
the
on,
Brewhouse.
get some coffee.
Grab some Black Pitch
Do
coffee
whatever you wanna
if you're
do.
here at the Brewhouse. Watch on Fox. That's where you can keep up with all this. Make sure you're following us at Soccer Down Here. We'll have our immediate reactions on social media to the U.S. group, to other groups, and then we'll come back to talk about it at about 2:15 and tell you which group we think is the toughest, which team got the toughest draw, which team got the easiest draw. We'll break all of that down starting at about 2:15. Make sure you are getting your notifications for Soccer Down Here wherever you are on social media.
Get your popcorn, get coffee, get your beer, all the above. We'll be right back here on SDH at around 2:15 for a reaction to the 2000.